Good evening and welcome to the KSL Game Night Live Rewind, brought to you by Brent Brown Toyota and brought to you as well by Heidemann & Associates. Tonight we've got a non-regional matchup between the Timpanogos Timberwolves and the Tooele Buffaloes. I'm Alex Zamora, and alongside me is Jared Call, our first time in the booth together. Just some team notes for both of these teams before kickoff. Timpanogos came off of a beatdown of Logan High last week and looks to finish off their last non-region play game with a win here tonight. Chase Riggs is back at quarterback after Luke Livingston has been filling in for him after he had a hand injury in practice. On the other side, we have the Tooele Buffaloes who are looking to get their first win of the season following 3 straight non-region losses. While they don't have anything in the win column just yet, their team shows some promise. Quarterback Caden Dean has shown some great promise, improving ball security following his 11 interception season last year. Now I'm going to turn the time over to Jared to give us some of our keys to the game. Jared?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. So first off, let's start with Timpanogos. Something that we just learned in the pregame is that Riggs is back at quarterback. He missed the first couple of games. Livingston did really well coming in for him, but getting Riggs back up to speed is going to be one of the keys of this Timpanogos offense. They've been in a rhythm. They've been playing really, really well, but implementing that new quarterback is going to be something that they're going to have to watch out for. And then for Tooele, limiting turnovers is what Coach Hunter said to us pregame. They've been moving the ball. They've been doing well on offense, but just giving away games, giving away the possession is just something that they've been doing a little too much of, Alex.
Yeah. And it's going to be the Timberwolves receiving this opening kickoff, and we are underway here. And that ball is going to go flying out of the back of the end zone, and the Timberwolves are going to start their first drive of the night. Yeah, so some things to break down. I mean, last season I had the opportunity to call quite a few games for the Timpanogos Timberwolves, and we saw a lot of Luke Livingston, both at wide receiver, playing some wildcat, as well as throwing the ball because Chase Riggs, he dealt with some injuries last year, shoulder injury, which I didn't know was a collarbone injury, so I got to relate a little bit with Coach Austin Hughes in pregame about that, as I've broken both my collarbones in the last 2 years combined. So shared pain with you, Chase Riggs. So it'll be great to see him as he's going under center for the first time since last season. Let's see how he is. Again, it was a broken hand that he dealt with in practice. Audible right here. Deuces out on both sides. Calls the wide receiver in motion on the backside. Handoff up the middle. That's Easton Bretzing up and away all the way down to about the 40-yard line right there. And that's the way you want to start off the game.
That is exactly how you want to start off the game. And this is something we're going to see from Timpanogos a lot tonight. They run a very fast tempo. It's like the Oregon teams of 2014 with Marcus Mariota.
Down for Timpanogos.
Something we'll have to keep an eye on, too. Something that they love to do is, even if it was Chase Riggs or another person playing quarterback, they'd have Luke Livingston split out just like this. They'll either have him run a streak, or if they have a deuces package to the right side, they'll have him come back in for a little screenplay action. Could be something we'll see a lot of.
Yeah, and
second down and a long 8.
Looks like we're taking a quick little injury timeout as number 69 for Timpanogos is limping off the court there.
That's Orion Gretaceta of the offensive line, senior. Big frame guy, 6'2". Chase Riggs under center now. Looking to his right. Finds Livingston right there. Might get the first down.
Receiving number 2 to Luke.
And it looks like they're going to give it to him. That's going to be a first down after a second and long.
It's a little bit of a generous spot there, but
I thought so well. I thought that he was going to be marked just short, but nonetheless, another first down for the Timberwolves. Oh, and we got a flag on the field. Let's see what this is for.
Question at the 50-yard line.
It looks like they're talking with the center right now about something to do with the pre-play snap. I noticed it last play as well. He picks up the ball from the turf, kind of turns it over in his hands, and then puts it back down and gets ready for the snap. And so maybe the refs are talking to him about that, about just a little bit of keeping the ball on the turf before snapping it.
Going right out here. You got Livingston out to the right alongside Josh Graff. Got running back Easton Bretzing. Calls wide receiver in motion. Bretzing up the middle again. He's got 5 yards and more. Might have a lane open to the left. Going to the distance. Trip stumbles, and he's going to be finally taken down at about the 33-yard line.
If it weren't for the turf monster there, that might have been 6.
I thought that he was just going for pay dirt right there.
Yeah, and again, we see the tempo of Timpanogos. Those big gains, absolutely wasting no time, getting right back up on the ball.
Riggs going back. Bretzing to his left in the backfield. Going back. Avoids pressure. Throwing it up for Livingston. Catch ball. Livingston's got it over his shoulder and into the end zone for the touchdown.
Wow, if there were any questions about Riggs' health in that hand, wow, that should answer those questions.
That was an absolute rainbow of a ball right there. Right into the pocket to Livingston. Back shoulder. Caught him right in stride for the score.
And that's a tough throw to make, too, because not only is he coming back from a hand injury, but he threw that one into the wind. It is very windy here in Tooele right now. And he threw that one into the wind on a dime. Beautiful touchdown pass.
Now for the PAT attempt.
For the extra point.
Got Parker Harding back there. Bit of a bad snap, but it is up. And it is good for one.
Good.
Well, I don't know if that opening drive was any surprise to us. We talked about this in pregame on our drive up here, that we expected the Timberwolves to come out firing on all cylinders, and they show no signs of stopping that.
No, and it was so fast. And this is when this Timpanogos team is at their best, when they're playing at tempo, when they're taking the chunk plays that the defense is giving them, and then taking the occasional shot. Sometimes in the games previous, they'd get a little bit ahead of themselves. They'd try and, on 1st and 10, they just throw 3 straight deep shots and then have to punt the ball away. But this is what you like to see if you're a Timpanogos fan, is seeing your team be methodical, test the defense, set up the ground game, and then take those shots over the top.
And now we're going to see the Buffaloes out offensively for the first time tonight as the kicking unit gets ready to get way here for the Timberwolves. The Buffaloes come out looking for their first one this season, hoping to improve from last year when they went 2-8 overall. The last time they won a game was against Mountain View last September, so they're hoping to have a bit better start.
Number 11, Maverick Larson.
That's something we talked to Coach Chunner about, and he said just keep building momentum game by game. You can't get it all back in one game. All you can do is make improvements and try and win each game one at a time, and that's exactly what they're going to try and do here. And get things started off on the right foot here on offense.
Bretzing with the kick, who also plays running back. He's got one heck of a leg. And that's going to the end zone for a touchback. And the Timberwolves are going to get underway. And leading the Buffaloes, not the Timberwolves, the Buffaloes at quarterback is going to be junior Caden Dean, who has done pretty well for himself so far this season, throwing 58% completion, about 370 yards, 4 touchdowns, and just 1 interception. And now 2 weeks ago, he had a great showing against Utah. It was a really close loss against them, but he had 90% completion. He had 2 touchdowns and well over 200 yards. So a very good showing. We'll see if he can get back into that rhythm tonight.
Number 7. Caden Dean.
Looked like Caden Dean's going to be hand off to the running back and be dropped in the backfield right there for a loss.
Yeah, and this offense is very unique from Tooele. It's kind of a split back. It's based on misdirection, counters, lots of reverses. You can see they have as they give it to the fullback up the middle there they're pushing the pile. Wow. Little Tyson Williams, BYU, reminiscent of Tennessee.
Now, how many BYU references am I going to expect from you tonight, Jared?
Quite a few,
Quite a few, okay, all right. Well, we hope we have more BYU listeners than Utes fans tonight.
The Utes did play very, very well in their game against Florida.
They did. Well, something that Dave McCann, a relative of offensive coordinator Coach McCann for the Timpanogos Timberwolves, and some of the players as well, a relative of some of the players on this team, he said it looked like the Gators just skipped fall camp, and it certainly looked like that.
Yes, it did.
Driving ahead right there. We drop. Looks like it's going to be just short. It looks like the center official is going to give them first down, and they are going to move up the chains. That is, in fact, a first down. And so we saw many times last season, Alex Tumulip and I, as we were calling games, so many times it was a 3-and-out for whatever offense was going up against the Timberwolves. So this is pretty good to see him at least get a set of first downs, give him some confidence.
Yeah, especially on your first drive. There's nothing worse than going 3-and-out and giving the ball right back to an offense.
Oh, and he gets it right there to Nicholas Arellano, wide open right there. And that's something that we saw a little bit in footage. It seems that quarterback Dean just has a little bit of trouble just throwing out wide receivers, getting them and catching them in stride. Ball's a little unthrown right there, and his coverage right there on the Timberwolves got a little tripped up. That could have been 6 right there if that ball was thrown a bit ahead of him.
Yep.
Fake handoff right there. It's going to go to number 9. That is Bram Gustin, who also sometimes plays running back.
Yeah, and this is another just aspect of this really, really unique offense. So the quarterback will have at least 3 options every time he receives a snap. So he has both wing backs. There's going to be a fake to an inside run with the fullback. There's going to be a fake to a sweep with the other back. And then you also have the option of that. If you watch on the far side, you'll have either a slot wide receiver or a tight end that will sometimes come across and take a sweep handoff.
And right there, Caden Dean took a hard hit in the back.
The pass is incomplete, intended for number 21.
From Tage Lister,
Aaron Davis,
nephew of our producer. Right there, good pressure right there, coming on the backside.
Yeah, and number 21, Aaron Davis, the one that was intended on that throw. He had a 70-yard touchdown reception just a week ago. He can be electric if they can get him the ball in open space. They just get the ball to him, and that's something that they're going to need to do here again on 3rd and long.
That was a good pass on that touchdown from last week. That was the one into triple coverage, wasn't it? It just got right over the defenders. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, and if you're Tooele, that's what you need. You need to get something out of your pass game. With an offense like this, if you get behind the sticks, then you become a very one-dimensional and predictable offense.
And Von Gritzmacher just came in right there for Bram Gustin. Rolling out to his right side. Almost intercepted right there.
The pass is incomplete.
By Nash Price, the senior, 6 feet. Got some great height. That's something that's really impressive about this Timberwolves defense. They have just great frame at every position. Someone you really need to watch out is, that cornerback right there, Price, and also MJ Iosefo, number 4, the middle linebacker. He played a lot of running back last season, but it looks like he's taking more and more defensive looks. It's something that we saw more and more time spending on the defensive side of the ball rather than the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and he's a big boy. He is every inch of that frame. He is plugging up holes in the inside. Could only imagine him as a running back last year.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
He was an absolute wrecking unit. High snap right there, because he's going to get that punt away. It's going to be a high ball.
Right up into the wind there.
Timberwolves. It was Tyler Hunter, but that one's just going to roll into the back of the end zone to give the Timberwolves their second start offensively tonight.
From the Tooele offense, you saw what you wanted to see. You just need to complete one of those pass plays. You can't get behind the sticks, and if you do, then you need to include that pass game. Like we were saying, it becomes a little predictable, though. You become a little bit one-dimensional in that split-back form. So we'll see if Tooele can get a stop here and kind of stop the bleeding, per se. But if Timpanogos goes down and scores again quick, this one could get out of hand fast.
And of course, the defense is always hoping for a turnover. They've only forced 2 turnovers this season.
Up to the line of scrimmage, 1st down.
That's going to go out left for the screen pass. Going to get run out of bounds. And that was Gabe Graff, younger brother of Josh Graff, at the tight end on this team. Now, Josh Graff had a pretty good season last year. He's got some really good height and some really good speed on him.
Yeah, he mainly plays kind of that slot receiver tight end, as you can see him out on the side there.
Luke Livingston once again with the slant, the spin. He's finally going to be brought down in the backfield right there. That was a good tackle, making sure he didn't get away from him. That was Dustin Van Wagener.
That was a very important tackle there, because if Livingston gets out of that one, it's over.
Oh, and speaking of Livingston, it looks like Livingston's going to be down. Might have gotten a little bit of a knee injury right there, a little bit of a ankle twist, not sure.
It almost looked as he tried to accelerate out of the tackle, but Van Wagener kind of grabbed him and kind of spun him down just a little bit awkwardly. Doesn't look like Livingston is in too much pain, though, so hopefully we'll be able to see him come out.
Looks like they're going to have some of the athletic training staff come out and take a look at him. And while they sort out this injury, we're going to take a second to hear some messages from our sponsors, and we'll be right back after these messages. And we're back right here. That one's overthrown from Riggs. That was intended for Josh Graff, the tight end. Little 5-yard out route.
And if Josh Graff looks big on your TV screen, it's because he is big. He is one of the biggest players on the field and will be all night tonight. He is an absolute weapon, especially against this smaller secondary from Tooele.
Right here, interesting. We have Bretzing outright solo. Forgive me right there. I thought he was out solo. Didn't see the other receiver out there. Parker Harvey on the catch.
He's also the team's place kicker. Fun fact.
Justin Van Wagner making the tackle for the Buffalo.
Chase Riggs back there. Fake handoff. Looking up there. Ooh, that was a little bit of a stop and go. If the pass was a bit more accurate, that could have been dangerous. Intended for Gabe Graff.
And we saw them set this play up on the previous drive, running a couple quick slants to Livingston, and now they ran the double play. Just overthrew him a little bit, but that would have been 6.
And 4th and short right here, and they're going to go for the money. And let's see if it pays off. They're taking their time, marking assignments. Chase Riggs. He's got 2 out to his right, 2 out to his left. Brett Singh in the backfield. And that's going to be an offsides force. Good on the hard count right there.
Now this is something, as I was watching film, I watched the Timpanogos game against Logan last week, and this is the exact same thing they did. They ran quick tempo, quick tempo, quick tempo, and then on 4th and short, they get up there, act like they're doing the same thing, and then hard count, and it gets the defense almost every time.
Well, of course, the defense is going to get antsy to try and stop this prolific offense right there. And that was Britton Rosser that jumped offsides, causing the flag for the Buffaloes. High snap right there. Bressing's going to go to his right. Bounces out right. Avoids a tackle. No, he does not. He's going to be stuffed in the backfield. That looks like he will gain maybe a yard on that play right there. Well, good to get something out of almost nothing right there. It almost looked like he was going to be able to turn the corner right there, but the defense was quick to get down to him.
Incredible tackle by Van Wagner again.
Fouls with the tackle for the Buffs.
Riggs to his right. That's going to be complete to Graff. Josh Graff, that is. The clock's going to continue to run. That's going to bring up 3rd and medium.
And again, this is Timpanogos. This is when they are at their best. Just moving the ball, chunk play after chunk play, staying ahead of the sticks. And this gives you the opportunity, again, to go deep if you want to, and then go for it on 4th and short again.
High snap right there. It's going to be handoff to Brett Singh. He's going to go. Oh, and that one looks like it's going to be just short. 4th and inches on that one. We likely will see another 4th and short situation coming up.
And he absolutely got lit up in that hole there. The hole was there, but he just didn't win that one-on-one matchup with the linebacker. Chase Riggs giving some assignments to his offensive line and wide receivers. Trips out to his left. Hard count right there. Looking to the sideline for a play. Let's see what they're going to run, as Tooele is not going to make the same mistake they did last time on 4th and short. The trips are going to split up, and Josh Graff's going to go over to the right side. And Josh Graff, when he comes in, he's an excellent run blocker. Oh, and he did lead the way right there. You called it. You see, that's why I have you for color commentary. Yeah, that was a beautiful block by Graff. That's one of my favorite parts about his game, because athleticism will only get you so far. Blocking is one of those things that if you don't have the heart, if you don't put forth the effort, you're not going to be good at it. But he does every single play. Theory will only get you so far, as Oppenheimer once said. Fake throw right there, and Brett Singh's going to go down, and it looks like he's going to get back just to the line of scrimmage. And just so we should note it, Luke Livingston is back. He is solo down at the bottom of your screen, number 2. Yeah, during that commercial break, he did walk off under his own power. He was walking slowly, but he had his helmet. He was walking off, so hopefully it's nothing too serious, and as we can see, he's back in. You know, and something that Coach Heaps was talking to us about is that there's so many good players on this team. He talked about how many varsity starts. I can't remember the exact number he had. Over 100. Yeah, over 100 varsity starts across this lineup right here. And so we didn't want us to just focus on Luke Livingston and Chase Riggs, the guys that put up the big numbers, but everyone on this team. Chase Riggs is throwing up right there once again for Luke Livingston, who's got it. And he's going to go down about the 6-yard line. Yeah, and that was just a beautiful ball. The little pump fake on the double move. Livingston beat his man. And not to mention, Livingston has about 6 inches on the defender that's guarding him. Van Wagner did as good of a job as he could, but with that height and that throw, not much you can do there.
The ball at the 8-yard line.
Right there, running back to Brett Singh up the middle. And he's going to get very close, about 1.5 yards short or so.
Number 22.
And right here, we saw a lot of times little fades up to Luke Livingston. We'll see it, but likely we might just see Brett Singh just finish off this drive. His first touchdown of the game. And that one's going to go out to his left. Oh, and likely a holding call, and yes, it is called. And that was Aaron Davis with the hold on that.
Play stopped with a penalty.
Aaron Davis is one of Tooele's best players, but that one he just got beat inside, and sometimes you have an option. You can either give up a touchdown or give up a penalty.
And it looks like the ref is going to give a sideline warning to Tooele. And it looks like it's going to be pass interference on the defense. Once again, the center ref giving some instructions to head coach B.J. Hunter. Now his second season as the head coach. He has taught here at Tooele High School since 2005. Very nice guy. We got to exchange some words in the 4 games.
Yeah, very good human being. Very nice guy. Very courteous. Giving us a couple of minutes of his time.
Chase Riggs back here. He's got Luke Livingston out to his right, 2 to his left. And that's going to be Bretzing up the middle for the easy score to put the Timberwolves up 13.
Now, as good as Bretzing was, that was all his offensive line. He didn't get touched until he was half a yard into the end zone. This offensive line for Timpanogos has been opening some really big holes. And Bretzing, every once in a while, he can get away from that tackle. And so we're gonna see a lot from the run game of Timpanogos tonight.
It's going to be another high snap, and that ball is up. And that one is good. Timberwolves take the 14-0 lead early in this one.
Again, this Tooele defense is just a little undersized in the secondary. As we can see, they have speed, they have athleticism, but just not the height that can compete with these exceptionally tall players like Graff and Livingston for Timpanogos. And that's something that obviously Timpanogos is trying to exploit, and they've done a really good job of it so far.
And now we're going to see the second attempt from the Buffaloes to try to get some points on the board. And going back to what you were just talking about, not only is the Timberwolves offensive line super effective, but the defensive line on the Buffaloes has really struggled all season. A lot of times in film, we just see them getting pushed back and back. They have gotten back to the quarterback, and sometimes they have 6 sacks on the season, have yet to really get a touch on the quarterback. They did put on some pressure earlier, but Chase Riggs on that play where they put on pressure was able to find the end zone, so it didn't affect the Timberwolves all that much.
Yeah, and that's just the thing. Sometimes it's a trade-off. If you're going to send guys to get pressure, then you have to put your defenders in the secondary out on islands, and we've seen Timpanogos be able to exploit that very, very well.
And Bretzing, who just scored that touchdown, is going to get this underway. Going back just outside the end zone, and that ball is live. Going back, looking for a block. Newbine has a wide open lane in the middle, just needs Bretzing to beat. Man on his back, and Bretzing's going to take him down. And he's going to be down at about the 43-yard line. And they're going to throw multiple flags on the play. If it's going to be contact with the head, it looks like what it might be.
That was Eric Rojas. That was incredible. Shout out to the special teams unit. You don't shout out the special teams unit a lot. But that hole was so wide, you could have driven a semi-truck through the middle of the field for 50 yards before getting touched.
And that's going to set them up in great position to cut this lead down a little bit.
And we saw this Tooele field goal kicker hitting 45 and 50 yarders in warm-ups. So at the very least, you expect to get points out of this one.
You know, both of these kickers have been very, very effective. We do have a very strong wind that's blowing north the way that the Buffaloes are going, so the advantage is theirs if they decide that they have to go for a field goal on this drive. And they are going to move the ball up even further after that helmet-to-helmet contact by Bretzing. And I don't think, of course, that was Bretzing's intention right there. I think he was just trying to make sure that the returner didn't get past him right there. He's like, hey, I just scored a touchdown. I don't want that erased away. Let's keep this 14-0.
Sometimes that's all you can do.
That's going to be out to the right side. And he's going to be brought back in the backfield for a loss of about 3 yards.
Now, there was actually decent blocking on that run play. The running back just, as he came into the left, he stepped a little too far to the left and ran into the back of the pulling guard. If he had been able to bounce it out a little bit, there was nobody there for 10, 15 yards. Something that they're going to have to do, Tooele, is set that edge and get to the edge.
And that ball right there is going to go to the fullback, who's going to be brought down, who's going to get them back a yard or two. There was Max Foles.
So here again we have a 3rd and long for Tooele. There's kind of 2 schools of thought here. You can either play for the field goal and do something a little bit more conservative, something that you kind of know is going to get you yards, whether that's a run play, a quick hitting pass, or you can go for it all and try and get to the sticks. If it were me, I'm going to run something that I know is going to get me at least 5 yards, because with the kicking leg they have, you don't want to lose that option.
Right there, change of formation, possibly try to catch Timberwolves offside. Caden right there is going to go into coverage, and that's almost intercepted by the Timberwolves. That was a really risky pass right there, going into about triple coverage. That was Tyler Hunter who almost intercepted that ball.
So he did have Aaron Davis open, but he just overthrew him, and that's such a dangerous throw to overthrow. Right over the middle, you have all the safeties right there, plus whoever is guarding your guy on man. It was open, it was there, it was just a little bit of an overthrow.
And Caden Dean hasn't gone too many looks tonight. We know how much they like to go to those running options in the backfield. And the Buffaloes have had some success in the backfield, being led by Bram Gustin and Britton Rosser. Cade Needon going back. He's going back in the pocket. It's going to be a throw. Throws it up to the middle, and that one looks like it is going to be intercepted. After going through the hands of Tyler Hunter, it's going to be picked off by Marley Iosefo, brother of linebacker MJ Iosefo. And so the Timberwolves will get their third offensive drive. Let's see if they can go 3 for 3 right here, but that's got to be a killer after that great kickoff return, and as well as the penalty setting them up and possibly field goal range right there. That's just got to be just a blow to the knees.
Exactly. I mean, you go into that and you think, hey, at the very least, we either miss a field goal or we punt and we change field position. But then after getting all those yards, you essentially don't gain another yard. That's, like you said, that's just a blow to the knees. That's self-inflicted wounds, and Tooele really can't afford those right now.
And now Chase Riggs is going to go back. They have just under 2.5 minutes in this first quarter. Calling an audible, going to split out his wide receivers, and he's got Brett Singh in the backfield to his left. Going to call Chase McCann in motion, and we see 3 flags go up into the air right there as the ball goes flying over the head of Chase Riggs.
The penalty is a false start.
False start right there on the Timberwolves. It's going to set them back.
Hey, in that situation, that's the best case scenario. That would have been a huge loss with the ball sailing over Riggs' head on the snap there.
Well, it looks like Chase Riggs wasn't even disappointed necessarily about the false start, but about the fact that the ball went over his head. It looks like he turned back and was giving some words to his center. Center, number 69, who went off with an injury earlier, Orion Ruessa, the senior, 6'2", over 305 pounds. That one's going to go out to his right side right there. Caught by Chase McCann, who's going to go out to the sideline.
Making the catch for the Timberwolves.
And here we see Timpanogos going with the tempo offense again, running trips out to the short side of the field there.
Right here, Luke Livingston, always a threat to be reckoned with. And just outside of your screen at the bottom. And Brett Singh's going to go up the middle. Tons of space right there, and it looks like he can pick up another first down.
Yeah, and Brett Singh is an amazing running back. He's a violent runner. He's thick. He's fast. But it doesn't matter who your running back is. With holes that size, you're going to get at least 8 yards of carry.
Brett Singh entered this game with just under a 7-yard average per rush. Oh, and that ball is going to go over the head of Chase Riggs again. He's going to look out to his right. It's going to be thrown incomplete, and it looks like it's going to be intentional grounding as he was not outside of the quarterback box.
Now, so high school rules regarding intentional grounding are a little bit different than you would see in college and in the pros, as the refs are going to come together to discuss this. In college, you have to be outside the tackle box and the ball has to go past the line of scrimmage, or if not, there has to be a receiver in the area. For high school, no matter what, the ball has to be thrown to a receiver in the area, and so that's what these refs are discussing right now.
Oh. Why am I doing this?
It looks like they just called holding on Tooele. Nope. So they're waving the penalty off. So after all that,
possibly the penalties canceling each other out, or
possibly.
But nonetheless, it's going to be
defensive holding is being charged.
It looks like the refs are discussing it right now as well.
Yes. So it almost looks like the reason there was no receiver in the area was because of a defensive holding. That's what they're discussing, but they're also putting back in the backfield, so perhaps talking about intentional grounding as well, but it looks like they're going to walk off this defensive holding penalty.
Well, look like they are going to advance the ball a bit forward right here. So whatever the conclusion was of that ref's little conference right there, it is going to be a fresh set of downs for the Timberwolves. Send them out at their 47-yard line.
Again, they avoid catastrophe with that missed snap there.
The second time we've seen a ball fly over his head, both times they've gotten the break here. And Bretting's going to go out to his right. Great block from Graff, but not going to get anything there.
The ball carrier, number 22.
Incredible tackle by Bram Gustin there. Now, something that this Tooele team is doing really, really well is tackling in the open field. That's something that you have to do against this team, and they're doing it exceptionally well.
They've done a really good job getting downhill and getting to Brett Singh. That one out right there to Josh Graff, and that's going to go out for about a 5-yard gain. Set him up to third and 5.
Taking the ball, Josh Graff.
And again, that is another great open field tackle. Graff is, again, the biggest player on the field, and yet this small secondary for Tooele is doing a great job of wrapping up and tackling in the open field.
Empty backfield right here. He's got 3 to his right, 2 to his left. Looking to his left, he's going to throw it immediately, and that's going to be caught. Incompleted, and he's going to have more yards, but it looks like he is going to be called out of bounds, but not before he picks up the first down. And that was Gabe Graff. So brothers back-to-back on that one.
Something you love to see.
You know, that's something that's great about, high school sports. We see so many times siblings on the same team or athletic families come through. And in this case, we even have some families in the coaching staff with Coach McCann on the team, and he's got his sons on the team as well.
Yeah, no, it is very cool. It's something you don't see, like you said, in the pros or in college very much.
That one's going to be completed out to the left. Once again, to Graff the younger.
Now that was interesting. It almost looked like a botched handoff in the backfield there, but it's something that works out well for Timpanogos. They run kind of an RPO style where the quarterback has the option to keep, hand off, or throw the pass as we get another penalty here.
Well, let's see who this is going to be on. Looks like they're talking to Josh Graff right there.
Unsportsmanlike penalty against the Timberwolves.
That's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct. We didn't see anything from up here in the booth, but
no.
The rest, of course, have better eyes than we do, and that's going to set the Timberwolves back.
Yeah, and it looks like on Graff, too, as well, they're doing something with his knee pads.
And so something last year that the high school rules are really trying to enforce is players have to have knee pads. They will be penalized if they do not. They are just looking to protect the players more and more, and that's something that they have been enforcing, especially last year. It looks like they're going to continue to do that this season.
Yeah, that definitely looks like what it is. Because Graff looked over at the penalty and was like, what was that for? And then the ref was signaling to him to his equipment. So,
and that's one of those things that's just really, really simple. It just comes down to coaching and reminding players, hey, I know you guys might not like those knee pads, but just for the sake of penalty yards, let's have those cover the knees. Briggs in the backfield. It's going to go out to his right, and that's going to be completed right there to Dash McCann. Set it up third and a bit more manageable than that second and long situation right there.
Again, we see the brothers coming in clutch here.
Number 15, Dash McCann.
Timpanogos just going with a lot of quick-hitting routes right now. I think after getting burned deep, Tooele is kind of setting their safeties back. As you can see, they're playing 8-10 yards off the ball.
And it looks like the Timberwolves are just going to let this clock run out as we go 3, 2, and 1. And this first quarter is all over, and it has been all Timberwolves. Them leading 14-0 over the Buffaloes. What have been your thoughts on this first quarter?
I mean, obviously it's 14-0, so it's not the closest game. But Tooele has done a good job on this third drive here for Timpanogos, trying to keep up with the defensive pressure, forcing Tooele to keep everything in front of them. They haven't been getting beat over the top, which is exactly what Timpanogos has been wanting to do. And so I think it's all going to come down to this third and long here. If Tooele can stop them, then they'll be in good shape moving into the second quarter.
And with that, we'll head to our sponsors, and we'll be back after these messages. And we are back here to start our second quarter. Chase Briggs in the backfield, going to throw up to his left. He was hit as he throws, and that one's going to be intercepted for the Buffaloes. Justin Van Wagner with the interception. And what a way to start the second quarter for the Buffaloes.
That's exactly what we talked about. Absolutely incredible play. It was a little bit of a missed throw from the quarterback, from Riggs. And Van Wagner, he's been doing an awesome job in the open field, wrapping up, bringing people down, and there he comes up with the interception. Give this Tooele team a chance to kind of cut back into this lead and make it a game again.
Caden Dean under center right here. Let's see which option he goes to, and it looks like he's going to run it right up the middle for a gain of about 5 yards. Good option right there.
Ball up the middle.
I feel like we're watching a service academy over here. This is awesome. This is old school football.
And while we have a second, just a reminder that this broadcast is brought to you by Heidemann & Associates. Heidemann & Associates is a flat-rate law firm that is completely focused on you. Get a free consultation by calling 801-472-7742 or go to utah.law to find the nearest office. Caden Dean back again right here, and it looks like this one's going to be a double handoff. You go up the middle to get possibly a gain of about 1 yard right there. That was finally given to Bram Gustin, who found his way up the middle for a short gain.
Yeah, and that's another example of just this unique offense. I'm going to say it 100 times tonight, I guess. But that's why they line up the little H back to the side. It almost looks like a tight end that's looking in towards the quarterback. And it's exactly so they can do that. They can hand it off to the halfback who runs over and gives it on a little sweep play, as we see this one go right up the side.
That one right there, a good game by Max Foles. Went out to the right side, and that's going to give them a new set of downs.
Number 26.
Now for Tooele, you're hoping you can get into a rhythm here. As you can see, they're kind of finding their confidence. You can see it in the players. The jitters are out. They don't feel like they have to win the game on each play.
Right there, that one's going to go out left to Britton Rosser, who's going to find some room to maneuver before finally being pushed out of bounds. Taken down right there by Tage Lister.
The ball carrier.
Now this is exactly what we were talking about. Rosser set that edge that time. Instead of trying to cut the ball inside following his lineman that pulled, he bounced it outside and has the speed to get around the side there.
Well, as we talked about before, when we were down in the field talking to the coaches, we noticed how much bigger frames these Timberwolves players have, so that's something that they're going to have to utilize. Utilize their speed, play to their strengths, know that they can't exactly bulldoze through this defense. That one's going to be passed up the middle for another gain of a few yards to set up a 3rd and short. And looks like that one right there. Once again, Max Foles finding his ways.
And I love watching this. It doesn't seem like there's a lot going on every play, but this defense has to be watching 4 or 5 different players because any of them could get the ball. And even if one does get the ball, there's a possibility to get handed off to somebody sweeping the other side. And that's exactly what Tooele wants. They want to confuse the defense just by that half second of time.
And Timberwolves down heavy in the box, suspecting a run, and they suspected right as Max Foles is going to get swallowed up in the backfield right there. Taken down by number 23. Brighton Tate,
making the carry.
6'1" senior.
He's one of Timpanogos' best, one of their leading tacklers. He just got right inside of his offensive line. He just beat him mano a mano, just exactly how you would in old school football.
Receiving Tyler Hunter, punting Caden Dean.
See Timpanogos putting 2 return men back.
As they're going back to return, we saw a lot of dangerous returns last season from the Timberwolves, especially from, of course, you guessed it, Luke Livingston, who's not back on this particular package, and that's going to be fair caught by Tyler Hunter right there.
Now that was a dangerous catch. Called the fair catch, felt like he had to catch it, but with the wind, the ball just hit a wall in midair and dropped straight down, and he came diving in there. I think the coach might tell him, hey, next time, just let it go.
Just let it roll and hope it rolls backwards rather than towards their own end zone. So now Chase Riggs and crew are going to get another chance to put more points on the board.
And for Tooele, I mean, it's back on the defense again. You got to get another stop. You can't let your team that runs a methodical style, a little bit slower of an offense, can't let them get down 3 scores in the first half. That's just a death sentence to a team like this.
Well, they have plenty of confidence after getting that interception on the last drive. Now it's going to be a handoff right there to Bretsing, who's going to maneuver his way, but he's going to get swallowed up. Nowhere to go. Taken down by John LeCahey.
Bretsing carries.
And I think that this defense has really shocked us. The way that they've been getting back there. It's not just one guy getting on. Usually it's 1 or 2 or 3 guys getting and swallowing up the runner. Chase Riggs rolling out to his right. Looking right, he's going to find a man. Wide open right there. And that's Cash McCann. He's going to find his way all the way down to about the 13-yard line. A huge gain for the Timberwolves. And a great way to get these wheels in motion again.
Now, that was a miscommunication on the defensive side. The safety and the corner both dropped to cover the underneath man. And that left McCann wide open.
We have Gabe Graff on the bottom of our screen right here. Luke Livingston to the right. Bretsing right there. It's going to be a handoff to him. He's going to go up to the middle and get really close to a first down. And these situations are always pretty ideal for the offense, where you can get another set of first downs and have 5, maybe even 6 attempts to get into the end zone right here.
Yeah, and especially with the way that Timpanogos is running the ball, they've got to be feeling real good right now.
And that one's going to be thrown right there. Chase Riggs just wanted to get out of there.
Now, he very much overthrew his receivers, and I don't know what's going on in his head, but it looked like it might have been on purpose, because he had 2 guys over there, 3 or 4 defenders right there, and his first look wasn't there, looked over, his second look wasn't there. He just kind of threw it away just to kind of get it over, live to play another down, and that's the kind of smart, savvy play that you want from a veteran quarterback.
And 3rd and short right here, and it looks like he was going to go to his classic little screen pass to Luke Livingston after that first option out to the left. Graf didn't work out. And you're right, it did look like he just threw it out of bounds. Let's see if he decides to put it in the air and give it to the ground. That one is going to go out right to Luke Livingston. He's going to find his way past the first down marker, set up 1st and goal, and possibly... Oh, not quite. I thought he might have squeezed into the end zone there, but it looks like he's going to be a yard or 2 short. So set up 1st and goal.
In these high-intensity, high-pressure situations, one thing that coaches, especially at the high school level, really want to do is just get the ball to your best player.
Luke Livingston coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving seasons, in addition to playing some quarterback, and that's going to be a fake pass right there, and that's going to be completed for the touchdown to Gabe Graf, the 3rd score for the Timberwolves this evening.
And this Timpanogos offense is just surgical right now. They're setting up a beautiful game plan. Game theory is working perfectly. As you can see, they've run screen passes, just like we saw on that 3rd down to Livingston on the other end. They've been running off tackle to that short end. And what that does is that sucks the defense over to that short side of the field. And on the opposite side, what do you have? You have a one-on-one matchup with 3/4 of the field open to you.
Well, the way I think about it is like whack-a-mole. It's like, okay, if you try to cover up one thing, it's just something else is going to pop up somewhere else.
Exactly. And there are way too many moles on this Timpanogos team.
And that extra point is going to be good, setting them up 3 scores, 21-0 here in the 2nd quarter with just over 8 minutes left. And while they get set up, we're going to have a quick message from our sponsors. Back here before kickoff. This broadcast is brought to you by Advanced Window Products. Get your new windows now before the weather starts to cool down and the snow flies in. Contact them at 801-850-9100. Brett Singh gets ready to kick off for his 4th time tonight. 3rd time tonight, excuse me.
Let me tell you, Alex, this Brett Singh, he has a leg. He has 1 leg. He has 2, actually, but that leg is so strong. And kicking into the wind, wow. I've never seen a running back kick the ball that well.
You know, I got to imagine he's going to take one heck of an ice bath after this, after running the ball all night and booting this thing down the field.
Absolutely. I'm sure he would have it no other way, though. As the Tooele offense comes back out here, there's nothing you can do right now except just win the next play. That's all you need to do. Win the next play, win the next possession. Can't be looking at the scoreboard and doing the math in your head. Just got to win this play right here.
And don't be thinking about time right here, I can imagine. You won't want to let that to affect your playbook and let that shrink down.
Exactly.
And that one's going to be an incompleted pass. Dean was looking to his left right there.
Pass incomplete. Grismacher, the intended receiver.
Von Grismacher, who's the leading tackler for the Buffaloes.
And even though he leads the team in tackling, he is very explosive on the offensive side. In their game last week against Pineview, he had a jet sweep that he was clearly the fastest player on the field. He sprinted up the right side, got like 25 yards out of it. So if they can get him involved in the offense, that would be huge.
And we see him in the backfield out to his right to Dean. Dean's going to roll out to the right, looking for an option right there, and that's going to be passed and completed. He's going to find his way and finally brought down, but not before he takes the 1st down and more. That was completed to number 10, Nicholas Arellano. We've seen a few players slip and fall, and as we see some players and the refs huddle around some flags in the play, let's see what the refs decide that flag was right there. And it looks like it is going to be on the Timberwolves.
No, I was just going to say, the turf monster's gotten a lot of guys today, and it just turns out that on that play, Matthew Hall for the DB for the Timberwolves just slipped. That's all it was. He was in position and then slipped right as the wide receiver made his break, and that's what gave Tooele the 1st down. But those are the kind of breaks you need right now if you're Tooele.
And the Timberwolves, of course, play on a turf field out here in Tooele. Play on the grass. It did rain a little bit throughout the state here earlier, so the field is going to be a bit more slick. We were down on it a little bit.
It's not in the greatest condition, but it's not horrible either. It's not mud. It's not a mud pit.
No, I think more and more we're seeing a trend, away from turf, especially at the professional level. We see more pro athletes advocating for natural grass fields as more and more injuries seem to be happening on turf fields, especially non-contact injuries. And Dean's going under center. He's got 2 in the backfield. That one's going, and that one's going to go to his right side. Going back to Gritzmacher, finding a little bit of lane. Going to go up. He's going to find a first down, and more before finally being brought down by a whole gang of Timberwolves.
And that's exactly what we were just talking about. Gritzmacher, that little moxie, he set the edge. He beat his man. It was a one-on-one. Beat him to the sideline, turned it up super fast. Was able to put the moves on the Timpanogos defenders there and get a couple more yards. This is exactly what Tooele needs. You need to set the edge, open up the inside. You need to confuse the Timpanogos defense.
And his elusiveness, he's slippier than an ice cube in a hot stove top. That one right there, not going anywhere. He's going to be brought down by the big defensive tackle, Mate Toa.
And we get another penalty. There's been just a slew of penalties here in the last 5 minutes.
Penalty on the play.
Did you see anything? I didn't see anything extracurricular.
I didn't see on that right there. I was focused on the great tackle in the backfield.
A personal foul penalty against the Timberwolves.
That's going to be a foul against the Timberwolves right there. Going to set them back further onto their own side of the field. But the Buffaloes, that's a gift from heaven right there as they're trying to chip into this 21-point lead.
And yeah, they're catching all the breaks that you need to catch in order to get back in the game. Looks like they're keeping their head on. They're not letting their emotions get the better of them.
I imagine Coach Heaps will probably have a word to some of his players in the halftime, talking about limiting the amount of penalty yards they're giving up. Oh, it's going to be a flag on the field right there. Ref's going to have a talk with Caden Dean.
Looks like they were talking to the quarterback about something he was doing pre-snap. Maybe there's just a little bit too much of the pre-snap motion.
They're going to allow the clock to run here. Not sure what it was right there.
It looks like they just stopped play because the refs hadn't given the ready for play whistle yet. So no penalty, but they made them reset and restart.
1st and 10, Buffs.
Under 7 minutes in the second quarter, Caden Dean gets the snap. He's going to roll out to his left. He's looking for an option. He's going to avoid pressure, find his way up, and before finally being brought down for the sack.
And that's unfortunate because Nick Ariano out there on the corner, he just ran a simple little out route and was wide open, but because of that Timpanogos pressure, there's no way that they could have gotten the ball to him.
I know, I had my eyes so focused on Ariano as well, I didn't see the pressure coming down. That was Brighton Tate with the sack.
2nd down and long.
And that's something that you kind of mentioned earlier. The Tooele line, they need to win in the trenches, and it's something that they haven't done in these first 3 weeks. They haven't been able to kind of set that edge, get off the ball with the same power as the opponent. Especially in this kind of an offense, that is paramount.
And last week, we saw the Buffaloes go down to St. George, take on Pineview, and they were able to put 28 points on the board in that game. Unfortunately, they also allowed 52 points. And so a little bit of an uphill battle right there, but we know that this team can score. They haven't had a game where they scored less than 2 touchdowns, including the week before. They almost had a win that just kind of slipped through their fingers against Uintah. They lost that game by just 1 score, 42-35.
Yeah, and so sometimes people say you are what your record says you are, and I'm sure there's truth in that at some point, but this early in the season, you can't get bogged down with wins and losses. We're only 3 games in. Like you said, they've been competitive in a lot of games. They just need to put it all together, kind of like Coach Hunter was saying before the game. We got to cut down on turnovers, cut down on kind of those doy-doy plays that give the opponents the win, right? But right now, it looks like they're keeping it together really well. They just need to find the end zone on some sort of play, inject just a little bit of confidence into this team.
Right here, we're going to get the whistle, get play underway once again. Caden Dean in the backfield. Right to his right, going to roll out to his right, looking for an option. And the pass is going to be open right there to Ariano, and before stepping out of bounds. It's going to be a really good pickup right there. And that's going to set him about 3rd and 5 right there as they get into the red zone.
And that's great. This is huge for this Tooele offense to get that. Something that I've been noticing is watch the wide receivers. They don't always join the huddle with the Tooele offense. Sometimes they'll go line out first. As we see on the far side, they're doing the same thing. The wide receivers will set up first, and then the line comes and hurries and snaps. And so it adds to just a little bit of that deception and distraction on the defensive end.
Oh, and right there, that's going to be completed once again to Ariano, and it looks like that is going to give them a new set of downs.
That was funny because Ariano was trying to come off, asking for a sub after that last play, and the coach grabs him, throws him back on the field, and says, "Get in there, we need a first down."
He's like, "Hey, you're the one catching right now. We need you to stay in the game. I don't care if you're tired."
Got to feed the hot hand.
And it looks like he is on the sideline now, taking off his helmet. He's pretty tuckered out. He's getting a drink of water.
You better get ready because they're going to need him again soon.
A first down inside the 15-yard line. And Dean's going to push right up the middle and get quite a bit right there, almost giving them a first and goal. And now right here is interesting. You know, right here they're plowing. It's assuming if things keep on going the way they are, they're going to get into the end zone. But if they get to a fourth down situation, do you think that they need to kick the field goal and get points, or do you think they need to push through and try to get 7?
I think for me it kind of depends on momentum. It's a complete momentum play, right? Because if you lose downs here and then get half of it back, you don't really have the momentum. But if you're going up there, it's 4th and goal from the 1. You have to go for it. You have to get points on the board. You have to get 7, down 21 right now. Besides, if you look at the analytics sheet, it almost always tells you to go for it on 4th downs.
Right there, 3rd and very short, a little bit less than a yard it looks like, or just about a yard. As we have Ariano back in the field. He's going to be at the bottom of our screen to his right. Dean under center. He's got 2 running backs in the backfield. That's going to be a fake handoff. He might look for it. Ariano right there, and he's, right through his hands. I was getting ready to say caught for a touchdown, but caught for nothing as it was not caught. Went through his hands right there. It's going to set up a 4th and very short, and now it's decision time.
Now, and see, that's an interesting call, right? That's a call from an offensive coordinator that signifies you're going to go for it on 4th down, right? It's 3rd and short. You can either go ahead and get the down, or you can take a shot to the end zone. That's what they did, and here they are setting up to go for it on 4th and half a yard.
Under center, he's going to push his way for the QB sneak. Let's see if he gets just enough. They're still pushing, fighting. And now the whistle is finally blown before the whole pile falls over. And it looks like it should be enough based on where the ref is coming out, that it should be enough for a new set of downs and set up 1st and goal for the Buffaloes.
Yeah, beautiful call there. I mean, the QB sneak, they called a sneak for a reason, and Tooele's utilized it perfectly today. I mean, everybody knew it was going to happen on that play, but on the previous plays, they've gotten so much yardage out of it. There's so much deception there that gives that defense just a hesitation of a split second, and that's what it was able to give them that edge in that 4th down situation.
That's going to be a jet sweep right there. And he's going to be brought down to the back sweep. Gritzmacher brought down the backfield. A little bit of a momentum killer, but they still have plenty of time to work with. Just over 4 minutes left, and now here's an interesting situation. If they score really quickly here, they can still leave a decent amount of time on the clock for the Timberwolves here. And so, talking about momentum, we know, of course, that the Timberwolves are going to be kicking off at the start of the 3rd quarter.
But yeah, with a 25-second play clock, that's not 40 seconds as it is in college and in the NFL. With only 25 seconds, you can't exactly bleed the clock down and try and give Timpanogos just like a tiny bit of time right before halftime. You have to get out there and you just have to go for it right now. I think that should be the only thing in these players' minds, right, is just get positive yardages on each play and give themselves a chance to get in the end zone.
Right here, a bit of discussion with the refs before the ball is set. And get that clock rolling once more.
And we see Ariano over there pushing down his knee pads again. I'm sure these refs are just getting on him about that.
And there is a flag on the field, and that is going to count against the Buffaloes. So once more, in addition to that tackle in the backfield, that's going to set them back even further. So they're down 2nd and goal and very long.
Moving the ball way back.
Now off to see if they look to Ariano again to pick up a big chunk of yards before setting up 3rd and goal.
Yeah, and so we're talking about momentum. This is not momentum right now for Tooele. That's not what you want. See, instead of being 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line, it is now 2nd and goal from the 22-yard line. Right now, I mean, you want to get in the end zone. You want to get a touchdown. But right now, just don't do anything stupid. Don't give the ball away to the other team. You have the field goal, hopefully, in your back pocket. But if you turn the ball over, there's no chance.
Oh, it's a little tricky right there. It's going to be a reverse play right there. It's going to be caught and finally taken down right there. That was Britton Rosser on the catch.
Number 12.
Quite a creative play call right there.
Very creative play call. I think they were hoping that it would go for just a little bit more than just 7 or 8 yards. But it was very good, and that's a hard throw to make. Quarterback's rolling out, falling backwards, throws it across the field into the wind, and hit his guy well, and they were able to gain yards out of it. Here comes Ariana out to the side before they break the huddle.
Right here we have just over 3 minutes left in the second quarter before halftime. Caden Dean under center. 2 running backs once again in the backfield. Going to call 2 people in motion. And there's going to be a flag right here. And it's going to be a false start.
So on their way down this drive, Tooele was getting all the breaks. They're getting all the penalties. And now the script has flipped. The tables have turned. The turns have tabled. And now Tooele is moving backwards away from the end zone. That's not what you want to be doing.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. They brought back even further, and they're finally going to be pushed, not quite out of the red zone, but getting there. Ariano, first one outside. Caden Dean going to be back under center. And this is hard, too, when you're under center so often. Give your quarterback less time to throw the ball. Go, fake handoff, looking right. Going to throw it across the middle, and that's going to be, right into the hands of a Timpanogos defender. That was Crew Clegg on that one. And that one should have been his all day.
Now that's a break, right, for Tooele. At least you have the chance at a field goal right now. But, oh my gosh, was Max Foles wide open on the far side of the field. He was the running back that got the fake, right? Didn't get the ball, but got the fake. And he was running out on a little wheel route to the far side of the field. If they could just look at the first, if it's not there, go to your second read. That second read was wide open. But lucky for Dean, it was not picked, and they still have a chance at a field goal. Into the wind.
Franklin Wilcox back there to get the ball. Good snap. Kick is up, and it is good. Buffaloes get the first points of the night to cut that lead down to 18 points.
That was a 35-yard field goal straight into this healthy breeze that we have going here. And I swear that thing looked like it was going to be 10 yards good, and it ended up being only good by like 12 inches. It barely made it over, but it did, and now the Buffaloes are on the board.
And before the Timberwolves get this ball back, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
I love my new Chevy Blazer. The first time I saw one driving down the road, I knew I had to have one. It fits my skis perfectly. It's cute and comfy. I got my Chevy Blazer at John Watson Chevrolet. My experience was amazing. The staff always treats you like family, and it was easy from start to finish. I would rate John Watson Chevrolet 5 stars. In fact, I would give them 10 stars.
John Watson Chevrolet, your 5-star Chevy dealer.
I would definitely recommend anyone looking for a new car to come to John Watson Chevrolet.
As the Buffaloes get ready to kick this ball after getting 3. This broadcast is brought to you by Igloo Outfitters. The coziest wearable sleeping bag has you covered during those chilly days and nights. Worry no more about the weather and watch your favorite team in comfort with Igloo Outfitters. Go to their website, igloooutfitters.com, and enter REWIND for $20 off. Never miss the moments.
Tooele just a little bit unprepared for this kickoff. They had 11 guys out there, sent one guy off, and then sent him back on to get back up to 11 players.
Good kick right there, just outside of the end zone. That one's going to be returned by the Timberwolves. Going to go up the middle, as might have a lane up there. Runs into a blocker, and finally brought down, but not before getting to the 34-yard line. Not quite repeating the success that the Buffaloes had on one of their previous kickoff returns, but pretty good to set them up in decent field position with 2 minutes and 14 seconds before halftime.
Not very often you see the place kicker return a kickoff. Patrick Harvey, or Parker Harvey, doing everything right now.
And forgive us as we try to remember all these players' names. We got about 50-plus players on each of these teams. Right here, Chase Riggs has got 3 options to his left, 2 to his right. Empty backfield. Looking to his right, finds Luke Livingston for a short out route. Going, got the first down and more. Going to cut back in, and there's going to be a flag on the play. Not sure what that is right there. Let's see what the flag is. It was a really good gain right there. I'm not sure what the flag is going to be, as I saw, the direction the ref was looking at.
Regardless of what the penalty was, that was a gorgeous spin move by Luke Livingston. Guy came up, he was overplaying him just a little bit. Livingston put him in the spin cycle.
The ref's going to get that back in his pocket. It looks like the penalty is going to be
illegal use of hands.
And a penalty of illegal use of hands to the face by Luke Livingston.
I mean, they do call it football. Looks like they're deciding
Possibly how much yardage should be given right there before they place that ball down. Just a reminder, we have just over 2 minutes left in here. The visiting Timpanogos Timberwolves are leading 21-3 over the Tooele Buffaloes, who are looking for their first win of the season. And this is Chase Riggs' first start back at quarterback after dealing with a broken hand injury in practice after his hand was caught on a helmet. You can see on his right hand, his throwing hand, he's got a little bit of an arm brace on there, but he completes that pass nonetheless despite the injury, and that's going to be completed to Luke Livingston as he's going to go out of bounds.
Livingston coming up a little bit gimpy after that tackle. Again, kind of just one of those low wrap-up, twisting, alligator spin. It's a good thing we're going into halftime because that man might need some ice on those ankles.
He's got deuces on both sides. Chase Riggs with the running back to his right. Going back, looking for a pass. He's going to be wide open. That's going to be Josh Graff, but it's going to be incomplete. That was a poor pass right there. I'm honestly surprised there wasn't a bit of offensive pass interference right there. Right a little bit right there. I didn't know if that was trying to be like an attempted screen wheel route or some sort. It looks like it was kind of a broken play all the way through.
Yeah, it really was. Dustin Van Wagner just got absolutely blitzed right off the line. And Graff was wide open, but it was just underthrown. So I guess here we go again. 3rd and 8 now.
Riggs in the backfield looking to right there. That's going to be completed to Brett Singh, who's going to try to find his way for a first down, and he is going to get it, and the clock is going to stop with 1:47.
A little bit of a dangerous move by Britson there, because if he doesn't get that first down, clock's churning, and it's just going right away. So interesting move not to go out of bounds there, but it did work out for him in the end.
Looking to his right, once again going to find Brett Singh, who's going to be just short, about 2nd and 1 yard. Ideal second situation at about the 46-yard line.
And see, now we see that clock start to run. We have about 1.5 minutes left. Timpanogos trying to get one more score on the board here before halftime.
Empty backfield for Riggs. Got 3 options to his left, 2 to his right. He's going to look to his left. He's going to find Josh Graff open. He's going to find his way up to the middle. He's going to pick up a first down, and now that clock is going to stop before the ball gets set.
And we're seeing this a lot. This is kind of what we're talking on that last possession for Timpanogos. Timpanogos is just taking what the defense has given him. They've beaten him over the top a couple times. Now they're just going for those short intermediate routes.
Empty backfield again. Going to look back, finds Brett Singh. Oh, and that one's going to be incomplete. It looks like he was reading the headlines before he even caught the ball.
Yep.
Pass incomplete.
And Jacob Proctor was also heading over there. Maybe he heard a little bit of footsteps, was trying to plan his next couple of moves, kind of like you were saying he was anticipating what he was going to do with the ball before he got the ball. But, again, if he's tackled inbounds, then we lose another 20 seconds for Timpanogos, so maybe it's a good thing you dropped that one.
Once again, going for an empty backfield. Want to give quarterback Chase Riggs as many options as possible if they want to pick up this first down and stop the clock. And that one's going to be a high ball, but caught by Brett Singh after that drop pass, and is going to go out of bounds. Set up a 3rd and very manageable, about 3rd and 3.
We were talking about Brett Singh earlier, playing kicker, playing running back, now he's playing wide receiver, and he got up there for that ball. This guy's an athlete.
3rd down.
Easton Brett Singh also plays on the varsity basketball and soccer team.
Timeout.
Last season, he had 338 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. That was the 2nd most behind Luke Livingston, who was just about the Swiss Army man. He was a bit of a Taysom Hill last year, doing about everything for the Timberwolves.
3rd down at the 31-yard
and now the teams
line.
are going to huddle up to figure out what their game plans are going forward right before the half.
So if you're Timpanogos, you're probably on the outside of your field goal range. I mean, you do have the wind. It's kind of died down a little bit. But if you're going to kick a field goal, that's going to be a very long field goal. We're going to be looking at like a 48-yarder. I mean, like I said, you do get the win, but that's kind of tough. So with 3rd and 4, I think you're looking for something past the sticks. You definitely don't want to just go, everything to the wall right now. You want to maintain possession of the ball, maybe get a chance at a 4th down conversion or a field goal. But right now you do need a first down. There's a 1:05. There's a 1:05 left. You need to get past the sticks.
And let's see what both coordinators have cooked up inside their huddles. Once more, an empty backfield for Chase Riggs, giving him 3 options to his left. Deuce is out to his right. And it's always just rudimentary to look to where Luke Livingston is. He's going to look to his left. He's going to go out on a little wheel route right there. He's going to be tackled for a loss right there. Oh, and it looks like it's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct on Tooele by number 13, Von Gritzmacher.
Now, Gritzmacher did just go in and dive right at the knees, and then he got up and made the slash motion across his throat. So we're going to see if this is for maybe some sort of like chop block rule where you can't dive at the knees of an unprotected player, or if it's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct for what he did after the play.
And it looked like the flag did come after the play, but it might have been just a bit of hesitation to see what's going to go on.
Regardless, it's a personal foul of some sort against Gritzmacher.
And Coach B.J. Hunter is not happy about it as he's coming out into the field to have a word with the center ref. They're likely...
He may as well join the Timpanogos huddle at this point.
We have multiple Tooele coaches out on the field right now trying to talk to the refs. Nonetheless, the Timberwolves are going to get pushed up the field into the red zone.
Now, regardless of what the penalty was, that was an impressive play by Gritzmacher, just absolutely fearless, coming up, making a play on the ball, keeping him in bounds. Obviously not the result that you want after that penalty, but that's an impressive and aggressive play, and that's kind of what you want to see from this defense, is still showing that fight, that effort.
And now our clock is rolling, 55 seconds. Empty backfield once more. He's looking up. He's going to throw to Luke Livingston. That ball is going to be very low, but it looks like it's going to be caught. Let's see. And it looks like it hit the ground before it hit the hand of Luke Livingston. Incomplete. Second and long.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't see that from here with my eyes, but he was there. It was an open pass. He just threw it a little bit low and away. Livingston couldn't quite come down with it.
Right here, that does stop the clock. We got 46 seconds. Timpanogos leading by 18. Rolling out to his right now, looking for an option. Going to throw it up into the back of the end zone, and that one is going to be caught for the touchdown.
Pass complete for the touchdown.
And that was number 15, Dash McCann, who's had a few looks here tonight, a few catches, and that's going to be his first touchdown catch of the night.
Now, right after Gritzmacher makes an impressive play, he just got sucked into the backfield just a little bit too much. There's a lot of motion going on. You had a tight end coming across the field. You had the little banana route from the running back, and Gritzmacher's eyes just stayed right in the backfield there. Didn't quite catch Dash McCann on the little wheel route out and up. Got behind him for the touchdown.
And that kick is good, and that's going to give them a now 25-point lead over the Buffaloes right before halftime. We'll likely see them just run out the clock before they head into the locker rooms with 39 seconds left. But we've seen more of the same that we've seen so far this season from the Timberwolves as they have found the end zone time and time again tonight in this first half.
Yeah, and this Tooele defense, I mean, they're playing hard. You can see the players are trying, like Gritzmacher, coming up, making aggressive plays on the ball. They just can't get out of their own way today, and we've seen on the offensive and defensive side just the self-inflicted wounds, penalties, misassignments, just get caught looking in the backfield for a split second, and it's really cost them dearly. And Timpanogos, I mean, credit to them. They've been absolutely surgical in their approach and exploiting every little weakness that Tooele has shown today.
Once again, Timpanogos football and KSL Sports Rewind is presented by Brent Brown Toyota and brought to you by Heidemann and Associates. As we get underway here, I think it's safe to say that Chase Riggs has done pretty well for himself in his first game recovering from injury.
Absolutely. I mean, the first question you always ask when a quarterback comes back as that kicks out for a touchback is, are they going to be at full capacity? Because not only do you have the physical aspect of can you grip the football, can you throw it the same, but you also have to think about after hitting his hand on an alignment, and is he going to short arm some throws? Is he going to pull his hand back a little bit too quick? Is he going to be scared of that? And he has played absolutely fearless tonight.
Mm-hmm. Even in the face of some pressure sometimes, he's not been afraid to get down low, to keep his hands close to right there. The danger with that, of course, is always getting a helmet into your chest. You have your hand trapped in between those two and just doing something to his hand, but he looks very comfortable, looks right at home back there in the pocket. Caden Dean in the backfield once again to the handoff left side. And that was Britton Rosser once more who got the call. As the clock's going to continue run, less than 30 seconds here in the first half.
Yeah, they're going to have to run one more play. I kind of understand, like, you kind of do something that might be able to get you more positive yardages, right? They tried a little counter, reverse, sweep to the opposite side of the field. Just see if you can get anything, right? But then if it doesn't, then you just play it real conservative. You wait, chew the clock down, and then just take things into halftime.
Right here we have 6 seconds, down to 5. And it looks like they are going to let this one run right into the locker room.
And that makes the first half
And that is the end of the second quarter, with the Timpanogos Timberwolves leading the Tooele Buffaloes 28-3. Timpanogos trying to receive their third win of the season. Tooele trying to find their first win of the season. So, Jared, thoughts on the first half?
I mean, we saw kind of what we expected to see. This Timpanogos offense is a juggernaut. They have exceptionally athletic players. Just the build of these players, it's just different than Tooele. They have guys that are taller, bigger, faster, stronger. And credit to Tooele, they've played a really competitive ball game. I mean, if you think about these touchdown scores, right? That last one we just saw, and then their first two, they were just broken plays, just misassignments. The first two deep touchdown passes to Livingston it was just a matchup deficiency. It was a one-on-one battle. So it's not like Tooele is just absolutely getting beat all over the field. It's just a couple of matchups that Timpanogos has been able to exploit and do it very, very well.
And well, with that, while the players take a break, so are we, and we're going to let everyone enjoy the halftime festivities. And we will be back after the halftime break. Good evening and welcome back to this broadcast of high school football. It is brought to you by KSL Sports Rewind, presented by Brent Brown Toyota, as well as Heidemann & Associates. Heidemann & Associates is a flat-rate law firm that is completely focused on you. Get a free consultation by calling 801-472-7742 or go to utah.law to find the office nearest to you. We are back here at the Timpanogos Timberwolves, leading the Tooele Buffaloes 28-3. I am Alex Namrine, and alongside me is Jared Call. After an exciting first half, Jared, what are your thoughts coming back into the third quarter?
Well, my first thought is that I love Enter Sandman as a run onto the field song. They were playing that for Tooele as they ran out of their inflatable helmet. Obviously, like the great open for Virginia Tech as they run out there. The Hokies, absolutely incredible. Anyway, back to the actual game.
You're too excited for college football starting this week.
I really am. But Timpanogos, they look like a college football team right now. They are absolutely humming. They had a little bit of a dip there, kind of halfway through the second quarter. Tooele was driving. They threw the pick kind of down here on the left side of the field. But for all accounts, they are absolutely picking apart this Tooele defense. Expect to see more of the same. Hopefully, Tooele put together some sort of scheme to kind of confuse this Timpanogos offense, because right now they're just outsized and outmatched. But then for the Tooele side on offense, they've been doing all right. Like, they only have 3 points to show for it. But they've been playing really well. There's just a couple of missed assignments, a couple of bad throws on third downs. But they've been putting forth the effort. I expect them to score at least one more touchdown in this game. They've been playing well enough to have earned at least double-digit points. And we'll see if they can do it in the second half. Timpanogos' defense, the defensive line especially, has just been eating up that Tooele offensive line. But, yeah, I'm excited to see how the second half goes. I think it's going to be more competitive than the first half.
Yeah, and we'll see. And it is going to be the Timberwolves are going to be kicking off to the Buffaloes. So the Buffaloes have a really good chance to, try and capitalize on at least scoring in the first half and hopefully cut down this Timpanogos lead. And as you said, it hasn't been all bad for the Buffaloes. They have had some, some flashes in the pan, and hopefully it grows to be a bit more of a consistent fire at that. Of course, they had that interception. They had some good offensive plays. They had a lot of penalties going against them, which really killed that drive in which they had to just close off and settle for a field goal. But going forward, after halftime, a bit of rest, a bit of talks, a bit of just going over the game plan again, we could see a different team out here. We'll see going forward.
Yeah, and that's something that you kind of have to look out for as a coach and make sure that your players, especially at this age, they understand that. I mean, if we're talking about those last two drives before halftime, Tooele had to settle for a field goal because of just some silly penalties. And then Timpanogos went down and scored again because of a dumb penalty on third down. If that doesn't happen, I mean, that's a 10-point swing. You're looking at 7-21, and it's a completely different ball game. So you just got to get into your players' heads. Hey, don't play outside yourself. Play within yourself. Play within the system. Eliminate those dumb doy-doy plays, as we call them, right? And this is a completely different ball game. So we'll see if they can at least keep it competitive in the second half, maybe chip into this lead a little bit.
And for anyone hearing the student section yell, looks like the cheerleaders had a police officer hold up a sign that said cheer loud or go to jail. So I think there was only one option for the student section there. As we get ready underway, the Timberwolves and Easton Brutzing, who had a touchdown in the first half, gets ready to kick this ball, probably into the back of the end zone, but we'll see.
Brutzing kicking off.
And pretty close. That one is going to be a touchback.
Yep, in high school, as soon as the ball or the player receiving the ball crosses the end zone, it is automatically a touchback. There's no chance of running it out of the end zone.
The Buffaloes did have a pretty exciting kickoff. in the first half.
The one kickoff that was returnable.
Yeah, that was returnable, yeah. And Easton Bretsing, the kicker, was able to take him down. And there's even a flag on the end of that play, but Buffaloes were unable to capitalize on that kickoff and the penalty.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few penalties today. Timpanogos defense, right now Brighton Tate is really kind of leading this defense right now. He's getting into the backfield on every pass play. That play was absolutely blown up by Dominic Downey. That man is a monster. Just plugs up that inside there, got behind his man, and just threw the running back down like a rag doll.
Second down and a long 9.
And throwing players down like ragdolls is actually something that we were surprised to see from the Buffaloes defense, that they've been getting downhill, been first people into the backfield. And something that we've seen so often, we see the wide receivers break out of the huddle before the rest of the offensive line and the rest of that package. Senior Caden Dean under center. Gets set, going back to the pass. Going to go out to his right side right there, completed for the first down. And that ball is going to be fumbled, but it looks like it is going to be a face mask. A lot to digest right there. And it's one of the first times we've seen Caden Dean throw the ball without having a fake handoff.
Yeah, and you saw the linemen on that play. They all chop blocked. They dove at the knees, at the ground, right in front of the D line, and that's kind of what you see from a line that's getting beat. They just need to kind of set the defense, give them that hesitation again. Like, oh, are they going to dive at my knees? Like, am I really going to rush forward right now? And it bought them enough time, and they made the pass over there to Aaron Davis, but he just nearly got decapitated, and so move ahead another 15 yards.
And that's a break right there for the Buffaloes after that fumble.
I'm going to be honest, I would have fumbled that ball too, the way his neck got wrapped up there.
Yeah, certainly did not look nice right there. And the clock's going to continue to roll. Just over 11 minutes in this third quarter. And that handoff's going to go to the right side. Got a good path right there before finally being brought down. Britton Rosser right there once again, who's had some pretty good runs so far.
Yeah, and that was a really good hole opened up by this Tooele offensive line. Haven't been opening huge holes tonight, but that one was really good. And that was great ball security by Rosser as well to cover up right as the defender was coming in.
And that ball once again is going to go to Rosser now to the left side. So he's going to push it outside before being brought down into the backfield right there by Tyler Hunter, the senior. Good job by Hunter as Rosser almost escaped him. The shoelace tackle to bring him down.
Yeah, and again, we're seeing that as Rosser tries to find that outside edge, kind of pick the hole. Do I go inside? Do I bounce it out? He bounced it out that time. But yeah, that was a great tackle by Hunter on the outside to bring him down just right by his shoestrings.
Aaron Davis already split out to the right, lining up right there. Caden Dean under center, rolling out to his right side, looking for an option. Oh, and that goes in and out of the hands of Britton Rosser, who got the previous look on the rush attempt, and that's going to bring up a 4th down and 5 right here. And it looks like they're going to look to the sideline and see what their options are. There's going to be some personnel changes on the defensive side.
Now on that last play, Rosser obviously should have caught the ball. If you can touch it, you can catch it. That's what our coaches always used to tell us. But also you saw it on that right side there. Brighton Tate put the pressure on the quarterback, got in the passing lane, and got those big mitts up way high in the air, and it kind of affects the throw.
Oh, and that's going to be a flag, and I believe that's going to be a false start on the Buffaloes. And it looks like that is what the ref is signaling to the center official, and they call it, and that's going to push them back to 4th and 10, and they are going to bring out the punting unit. So missed opportunity right there, Jared.
How many times have we said it tonight, man? These self-inflicted injuries, that's the difference in the game right now. Timpanogos has that athletic advantage, but you give them anything else, like these silly penalties, false starts, illegal formation, not having your knee pads pulled down. These are things that really kill you.
Coach Hunter can't be pleased about that. That ball, slow snap, and that's going to go. Oh, and that one looks like it might have been a little bit of a blocked punt right there. Is it's going to roll to about the 52-yard line, or rather the 48-yard line, forgive me. I forgot I have to do subtraction and not addition right there. As it rolled onto the Timpanogos side of the field.
Looks like they threw a flag in the backfield as well. I wonder if they're going to get running into the kicker, roughing the kicker.
And it looks like it might be as we see Caden Dean coming back out with the rest of the offense. It looks like they knew exactly what was happening. And it looks like the defense for the Timberwolves is going to make their appeal. And it is going to be called against the Timberwolves, pushing them back and giving the Buffaloes another shot at this.
Talk about self-inflicted injuries. I mean, there it is again. These penalties have done a lot to swing momentum in this game. Now, if you're Tooele, you got to capitalize. You were just given a free first down after a dumb mistake. You need to go you need to score. You need to get points on the board here.
Timpanogos having a pretty good season so far, winning in week 1 at Jordan High, putting 62 points on the board and losing a close one to Park City. We talked with Coach Heaps about that, and he said pretty much it felt like they wrapped it up, put a bow on top, and just gave it to the other team. But, he said it wasn't like they lost to someone they shouldn't have lost to. They knew they were playing against a good opponent, and it gave them something to work up against, gave them something to fight for going forward. And they came and bounced back pretty well with a 41-14 victory over Logan High last week, and it looks like things are trending in the right direction tonight as they lead by 25 points.
Yeah, and if you're Timpanogos, sometimes a loss like that, it wasn't in region, so you don't lose that standing in region play. Sometimes that can be good. It can galvanize your team, especially a team that should be one of the best in the state in Timpanogos.
Dean going back in the pocket, looking to his right side, and that one is way overthrown. Possibly a miscommunication right there. And it looked like he was expecting his receiver, Nicholas Ariano, who got quite a few looks in the first half, to run a bit of an out, but it looks like they were not on the same page there. That's going to set up second and long.
Yeah, and Ariano had his guy beat. He got up to his defender, put a little shake and bake on him, and broke out into that out route, but the ball is just a little bit overthrown. Like you said, miscommunication of some sort, maybe just a bad throw, but whatever it is, it was a missed opportunity for the Buffaloes.
Caden Dean going to hand off right there to Rosser to the left side. He's going to make it just about to the line of scrimmage. So won't lose anything, but won't gain anything. It's going to bring it up at third and long right here. And let's see if either team decides to get a penalty. That seems to be the trend so far.
Yeah, third or fourth down. Someone's going to do something silly and give a free first down to somebody.
As my other broadcast partner, Alex Tumalik, says, it's a laundry fest out here. Third and about 11.
Third down.
Caden Dean in the backfield on a shotgun formation, something we see rarely of, throwing out to his right side, and that one's going to be possibly caught. Let's see if they give it to him right there, and it is going to be caught right there. That was a good catch by Ariano, getting his hand under the ball. It's going to set up a fourth and manageable. And now it's decision time once again for the Buffaloes.
That was a great play call and a great execution there. Great diving catch by Ariano. And that's exactly what you need, right? It's 3rd and 11. You're obviously going to go for it on 4th down, being down 28-3 on the opponent's side of the field. You don't need to get it all in one play. Just get something that you know you can get. You know the defenders are going to be playing off. Just get 8 yards and put yourself in 4th and manageable.
Down right here, Dean wants to get in shotgun. He's going to look out, roll out to his left. He's got blockers, and he's going to throw it up into the air, and that one is going to be incomplete. Past the hands of a defender and through the arms of his intended receiver right there, Aaron Davis, who's had quite a few looks.
Yeah, and that's why in practice sometimes you'll see receivers, they do what they call the concentration drill, and you'll have some coach or somebody just toss you a ball, and somebody in front of you will tip it, and you have to keep watching the ball, and whether or not it gets tipped, you have to focus on catching the ball, either adjusting to the tip, or if it doesn't get tipped, you have to keep your eye on the ball and catch it, and that's just wasn't what Davis was able to do on that play right there. Definitely a missed opportunity there on 4th and short.
And right here we see the Timberwolves getting set. We have Chase Riggs in the backfield for the first time this half. Easton Bretzing out to his left. Both of them have some touchdowns tonight. Chase Riggs going to get the ball. It's going to be a handoff to Bretzing. He's going to find his way past a few people before finally being brought down for about a gain of 9.
That was a great tackle by Jacob Proctor there. Bretzing was getting ahead of steam, and if he doesn't tackle him right there, then that could have gone for a lot more.
Empty backfield for Chase Riggs. He's got his running back out to the left. He's going to look to his left. He's going to find his receiver right there. That's going to be Graff, who's had a number of looks tonight.
And there's kind of that size advantage we've been talking about all night. Graff catches it. The defender's right there on him, but it takes 2.5, 3 defenders to bring him down on just a quick little curl route. That's something that Timpanogos has just been able to exploit over and over again with the smaller secondary of Tooele.
Troops out to his left. He's going to look to his right, and he's going to throw it up for Luke Livingston, who has some distance, and that one's going to be intercepted by Aaron Davis, the very man who missed that pass in the 4th and short situation right there to give the ball back to the Buffaloes. Their second turnover of the night. They have now matched the season number of turnovers they had coming into this game, and that's got to feel good going up against such a prolific offense like the Timpanogos Timberwolves.
Right. As a coach, that is huge. That is something to build off of, something that you can galvanize your team around. And look at Aaron Davis on the sideline, smacking helmets, running into guys. This guy's hyped. He's hopefully transferring that energy to the rest of his team. Now let's see the offense come out here and put a little pizzazz into this ball game.
And they're getting quick down to it. They do not want that momentum to run out. Dean under center. Looking back, it's going to be a handoff. Not up the middle, but out to the side on the end around. And that's the right receiver as we see a flag thrown.
Shocker.
Yeah, more of the same. That handoff was finally given to Bram Gustin, who made his way for a few yards, but it is going to be against the Buffaloes, pushing them further back into their own territory. And while they set the ball back, just a reminder that this broadcast is bought by Advanced Window Products. You can call 801-850-9100 for this offer. The fall window sale, get $2,000 off 10 windows or more, and financing is available.
This is something, I mean, we've been preaching it all night, but discipline. Like, Tooele is just not playing disciplined football right now. Silly penalties all over the field, and it's absolutely killing momentum, killing drives. And we see it again. It's 1st and 17 now for a team that really just needs to stay ahead of the chains, and starting off at 1st and 17 is not what you want to do, especially from your own 5.
And he did find a hole right there, and he's going to have a little bit more to go, and he's going to get about to the original line of scrimmage right there.
Max Fowles carries the ball for the Rocks.
And that's Max Fowles, who found his way up the middle.
3rd down.
And, you know, with that interception and after that penalty, it was starting to turn from what was a good situation to a bit of a scary situation, being backed up against your own end zone. But a good pickup right there to set up a second and about 8 yards right there. Things are looking upwards for the Buffaloes.
Yeah, hopefully you can just get positive yardage on this one. Don't go backwards.
Dean rolling out to his left, looking for a man. He has Roster right there. He's going to be hit with force right there. Finally taken down by Tyler Hunter.
Tyler Hunter just absolutely came out of nowhere on that one and laid the wood. That's exactly what you want from a DB. Sometimes you'll see DBs as smaller, just not as strong, not as aggressive, but that was an aggressive play on the ball, and that's what you need from a secondary that outmatches this Tooele team in size.
And Tyler Hunter has been one of those people time and time again that's been the first people down to the ball whenever the Buffaloes have had a reception. It's going to set this up for about a 3rd and 5 situation right here.
Like we said, just get positive yardage, make it manageable. Live to fight another down. And it looks like we're going to get a timeout from Tooele here.
And with that timeout, we'll take a quick message to hear, quick break to hear messages from our sponsors. And we are back here after that Buffalo's timeout.
3rd down and 5.
3rd down and 5. K. Dean with the running back out to his right side. Juices to his right. High snap. He's going to roll out to his right, looking for an option. He's going to throw it over the middle right there. It's going to be a far ball, and that is going to be almost intercepted right there. He did have a man open. The defense did a good job of getting back to their man and making that play, and that was Tage Lister right there. Make the stop. Go ahead. I need to hear you break down this play.
Well, Bram, the receiver, was wide open. He had it. It was just, as you could see, they did not have any time to throw the ball in the backfield. The backfield was collapsing super quickly. So they had to unload the ball really, really quick, and that gave the defense time to catch up with that wide receiver and knock the ball away. And in a game that should have been at least a 20, 30-yard gain.
And Caden Dean right now, sometimes quarterback, oftentimes tonight, unfortunately for them, punter. Oh, that's going to be a very poor punt. That's going to go to the right side, only to about their 32-yard line before finally being grounded right there. So not the most ideal punt. They do have the wind going against them, but there is a late flag right now. More of the same.
And that's a tough punt. I mean, we had a punt blocked just a little while ago, so that's probably in the back of his mind. Timpanogos obviously smells blood in the water, is going to go after it. Plus, he's punting into the wind. Especially for a high school punter, that's just a tough situation.
And he did have some players running down on him. And it looks like it's going to be unnecessary roughness on the receiving team, Timpanogos, and it's going to set them back a little bit. But nonetheless, it looks like they will still remain in enemy territory.
Yeah, both of these coaches are going to be very unhappy with these teams, given the number of penalties that we've had tonight. I'd expect the hills nearby Tooele and Timpanogos to be very trodden upon, as these teams are going to be running a lot of gassers to work off all these penalties.
And just a reminder, this broadcast is brought to you by Heidemann & Associates. Heidemann & Associates is a flat-rate law firm that is completely focused on you. Get a free consultation by calling 801-472-7742 or go to utah.law to find the office nearest you.
So even after the penalty, Timpanogos is still starting in Tooele territory. They're going to be starting at the 48-yard line here.
And Luke Livingston is going to be back in the Wildcat. Coach Heaps did say we might see a bit of this in the game, and it looks like we're going to see it for the first time tonight. Going out to his left, going to find Gabe Graff right there. He's going to get a few yards before being thrown out of bounds.
Now, this is an interesting move. You still have most of your starters in for Timpanogos. You can see the Graff brothers out there. You have... It looks like the whole starting line, maybe a couple of changes. Can't see very well from here, but as Livingston bounces it outside.
And this is something we saw so often last season with this Wildcat formation. When Chase Riggs was out, we would just see Luke Livingston. If he wasn't throwing it, he was usually running it, and he was so dangerous. We saw time and time again. He would take off for 75, 80-yard touchdowns week after week, and we see him split out right, and Chase Riggs is back under center. And takes the ball in the shotgun. That's going to be a handoff right there to Easton Bretzing, who's going to bulldoze his way for more and more yardage, and finally more for a first down. Move those chains.
See, if you're Timpanogos, this is what you want to do. You want to run the ball, and you want to run it well, and you want to just demoralize this defense. You want to take any ounce of fight or effort or fire they have left, and you just want to stamp it out right now. There goes Livingston on a little screen pass. Looks like he made it about 15 yards inside the red zone and inside the 10-yard line now for the Timberwolves.
Just to reaffirm, we are in the third quarter. We forgot to update that on our graphic, but we have 5 minutes left here in the third quarter. High snap right there. That one's going to go once more against the Bretzing, and it looks like he's going to just plow his way into the end zone for a touchdown, his second one of the night.
A touchdown, number 20.
Now that offensive line, man, I can't say enough about him. Again, Bretzing isn't touched until he's gotten 3 or 4 yards before contact. And then with that head of steam, it's going to be really hard to stop someone of Bretzing's size from getting into the end zone, and that's exactly what he did. This defense has just been beaten down all night long, and you saw it kind of wear and tear on them this drive as Bretzing gets in for another touchdown for Timpanogos.
You know, we were seeing more and more of the same of the Timberwolves offensive package. That was the first time we saw, a bit more variety putting Luke Livingston in the Wildcat. Is that one's going to go up? And that one is good. Almost looked like it was going to be short, but it is good.
Did have the help of the wind there. That probably helped it along a little bit.
So they now take the 32-point lead. And once again, for anyone who's not familiar with the high school regulations, once an opponent goes up by 35 points, they will start running the clock no matter what. So we are just points away from that being put into effect. As the Timberwolves lead the Buffaloes 35-3.
At this point, you don't tell your players the game's out of reach, but in the back of your mind, you just want to instill some positivity to your players. You want to give them opportunities to show that they still care. You want to give them opportunities to display their effort in this game, whether that's creating some sort of trick play, kind of emptying the playbook, as they say. But at the same time, you don't want to get anybody hurt. You don't want to lose players in these kinds of a game before you get into divisional play. So I'm excited to see if Tooele kind of opens up the playbook a little bit, or if they ride the horse that brought them here to say.
Bretzing with the kick, and that one once again is going to go back. That was probably his best kick of the night, as the wind has started up here once again with their advantage.
Out to the 20-yard line, 1st and 10, Buff.
And that's going to set up a first down for the Buffaloes. And the Buffaloes, as you said, obviously just wanting to get something out of this game, possibly if this game continues to get more and more out of hand. They're going to be starting region play next week, taking on Cottonwood High School out of Salt Lake. And they just went 2-5 in region play last year, so they'll be looking to improve on that. Their only wins came in region play, as they time and time again face tough opponents in non-region play, including tonight against the Timberwolves.
Yeah, and this Timberwolves team is just, you can see it on the field. They just have taller guys. And I've been really impressed with Tooele's effort. They just haven't been able to put together too many scoring drives, so it looks a lot more lopsided than it really has been.
A penalty.
And that one right there Caden Dean rolled out to his right, and he threw a ball up for Aaron Davis, and it looks like it's going to be a holding on number 9, Liam Fuller. We haven't seen much of tonight, as they might bring in more and more of their players off the bench.
You can hear the fans laughing in the stands as yet another penalty flag is called. I mean, we've already surpassed more penalty flags than Tooele has points, but I don't know. It might pass the number of yards that Tooele has if the penalties keep going at this rate.
And that's just disappointing right there. It didn't seem like it was necessarily a holding call. It looked like he was just, up on his man. And another penalty flag.
Looks like a sideline warning against Timpanogos.
Probably one of the members of the coaching staff not too pleased with the last call, letting his opinion be heard. As the wind starts to really pick up on the press box, we apologize if you hear some of that wind caught into our mics.
Looks like they're still sorting it out on the Timpanogos sideline.
And
looks like it is indeed a warning. They're not going to mark off any penalty yardage.
And that one right there is going to be handed off to his right side right there. And he's going to have tons of room right there. One of the best rushes of the night. And a good pickup right there from Britton Rosser.
And shocker, we have another penalty.
Well, just when we thought things were picking up, the refs need to understand this game isn't about them. It's about these young men out here trying to play football.
Exactly.
It's all about them.
I know. I'm interested to see who this penalty is on, because if it is on Tooele, I mean, it is.
And it looks like they're moving the chains.
Looks like they're waving off the penalty. So
must have just been on Timberwolves that declined that penalty.
They must have heard you. Oh wait, now he's getting a timeout from Timpanogos.
I do have the influence over people.
It's the commentator's curse, but this time it was positive.
The Timberwolves
are going to take a timeout, and so we will take a short break. And we'll be right back after these messages. And we are back here in Tooele, Utah, getting ready to play one more time. Just a reminder that we are sponsored by Igloo Outfitters. The coziest wearable sleeping bag has you covered during those chilly days and nights. Worry no more about the weather and watch your favorite team in comfort with Igloo Outfitters. That ball is going to be handed off to the right side. Right there, Britton Rosser getting to look one more. And he's going to continue to push more and more. Oh, and that was a fumble. And the ball's going the other way. It was a strip, and he might go the distance. One more person to beat it. And that one is going to go down all the way to the 4-yard line. I don't know what happened there.
Number 21, Cruz Clegg.
That was some Houdini hand magic trick right there.
Now, I was just about to shout out Colt Earl of Tooele because he picked up his running back and was started to carry him. And as we see number 21, that
was the carrier who served the ball. 21 Tyson Miller.
Tyson Miller down on the far side.
And it looks like they are going to get him back on his feet. They're around him right now. Don't have a clear picture on what's going on right now. And it looks like he is going to walk off on his own strength, limping a little bit, but glad to see he's back on his feet. It's always disappointing if a player makes a big play like that and gets hurt. It's like, oh, that's not the way I wanted to get repaid for making the most exciting play of the night, but okay.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like the rest of his defensive teammates are going to meet him on the sideline.
Yep, and a big stocky linebacker like Miller, you get your chance to score. I mean, he was huffing and puffing. He was trying to make it all the way down there. He's probably gassed. Needs to take a second right now. What an impressive play, though. This Timpanogos defense, I mean, I don't know what to say. They've absolutely put the clamps on Tooele tonight.
And they had some pretty good consecutive plays, the Buffaloes right there, looking to their running back time and time again. Chase Riggs in the backfield. Wide receiver in motion, and there's going to be a flag on the play, possibly a false start, and it will be a false start.
Again, a penalty flag, stopping play.
Looks like that was on Graff, number 17. And got a little ants in his pants there, a little antsy.
And it sounds like the stadium announcer is getting a little fed up with the flags too, as he called again. Again, another flag.
Yeah.
So it looks like they might have called a false start based on the way the wide receiver is running in motion, as it looks like Chase Riggs asking for clarification. Having a few words with the center referee before getting set and getting their next play in order.
Now, sometimes that's bad, right? And most of the time it is, right? But when you're in this kind of a situation with the offense that Timpanogos runs, sometimes just a little bit more space can open up the playbook a little bit.
Now he had a wide receiver in motion. He's going to roll out to his right. He's got little to no coverage, and he's going to find a man in the back of the end zone. That's going to be Josh Graff for the score.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Graff was about 5 yards deep into the end zone. If they run that exact same play from where they were before the false start, you can't run that. Graff is going to be out of the back of the end zone. And so it bought him just a little bit more space, and they had that levels concept going. They had 3 different receivers running to the far sideline, one at 2 yards, one at 5 yards, and one at 10 yards. And one of them was open.
Just a classic levels play right there. The kick is up, and that one is good. He is now 6 for 6 on the night.
Yeah, and despite some pretty interesting holds, I guess I'll say. The snaps haven't been perfect, holds haven't been perfect, but he's converted every single one. And that puts us above the 35-point deficit now. And so we're going to have a running clock, and it will only stop for timeouts and for scores.
So this game could start to go pretty quick unless the Buffaloes find their way into the end zone.
Or the refs decide to throw more penalties.
Before the refs decide to throw more penalties. And we'll stay here as they are underway for the kickoff. And Brett Singh once again getting more and more workout for his legs.
Man is going to be sore tomorrow. Tooele, I mean, that fumble was just absolutely crushing for Tooele. They, like you said, they were gaining momentum. Rosser was starting to find holes. They're starting to kind of exploit the edges a little bit. But that fumble, the return, I mean, it just about put this game away here. With about 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter.
And it'll be interesting to see if Timpanogos is going to start throwing in, some of their bench players, get them more reps, to see how much more depth they have before they get into region play when they play Uintah next week.
Yeah, a Uintah team that barely beat this year Tooele team, so a team that's competitive, but a team that Timpanogos should probably be favored against. For Timpanogos, definitely something to watch is that depth. And for Tooele as well, with the game a little bit out of reach right now, you don't want to get your starters injured right before region play.
And that one right there, that was a really good tackle.
As
Britton Rosser was taken down hard by Nash Price, the tall defensive back. 6 feet tall. And there's quite a few tall defensive backs on this Timpanogos side. I mean, I'm looking down the roster. Got 6 feet, 5'11", 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet. It's like, yeah, there's no shortage of height on this team.
Right, and then if you look at the wide receivers for Tooele, I mean, they don't even compare. You got like 5'11" is the tallest wide receiver that I'm seeing. Others around 5'6", 5'5". It's just a size advantage that Timpanogos has been exploiting all night.
Well, I know you're looking down on your nose, but I guess you can assume what happened.
Is there a stoppage in play? Must be a penalty.
It must be, and it looks like it is.
Penalty flag stop
on that play, Bram Gustin was the rusher who got a good pickup. And it looks like it's going to be a holding on the Tooele Buffaloes. So erase that play by Bram Gustin and push them back. It's going to be second and very long as the Timberwolves accept that penalty.
Not exactly the situation you want to be in if you're Tooele with the offense, the little split back offense you run. I mean, we don't have any live stats. We don't have a statistician on board here. But I would love to see Tooele's total yards compared to their penalty yardage, because it's got to be pretty close at this point.
Yes. And it's hard, too. It seems like they're running with a very limited package. And so limited package, limited playbook. And, you're not really stretching this Timberwolves defense very thin here. It's a high snap. He's going to roll out to his right, look for a man. It's going to be Ariano. It's going to be caught inbounds and going to be shoved out of bounds, but not before a good pickup to set down a third and a lot more manageable than that second and long situation.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like you were saying, the limited playbook, it's based off of owning the line of scrimmage, getting those easy yards, moving, staying ahead of the chains. They've only had one successful pass play tonight, and it's been that exact same one. A little bootleg to the right side of the field, and then you throw it to Ariano on the out route. If that's not working, I mean, there's not much you can do. And if Timpanogos, can start to key in on that just a little bit more, Tooele's got no chance on 3rd and 2nd and longs.
Dean in the pocket, rolling out to his right side, has pass rushers right there. It's going to be caught right there. But Britton Rosser is going to find his way back to about the line of scrimmage right there. And, going back to what you were saying about just those very singular successful pass plays, there's been quite a few dropped interceptions by the Timberwolves defense. This game could look a lot worse if some guys didn't have butterfingers on the defensive side.
Yes. And we talk about how much Tooele has self-inflicted wounds, but Timpanogos has done it as well. This could easily be more of a blowout, or it could be closer. But like you said, the different swings in this game have been pretty even.
And that's a high punt. Hits the ground, but rolls back, and it's going to stay once more. Another punt in the Buffalo side.
Yeah, again, just the pressure on the punter right now is insane from Timpanogos. And then punting into this super stiff breeze, that thing went straight up and straight down. It did not get any movement forward, and it even bounced backwards. That's how hard the wind is blowing right now.
And thank you once again to our sponsors, including Advanced Window Products. You can reach them at 801-850-9100. Improve your home's aesthetic upgrade with Utah's #1 window replacement company and Advanced Window Products. Buy local and support the local economy. You'll love what you see. And now we see the Timberwolves offense get set one more to do business as usual.
Looks like Riggs is still in at quarterback.
Yeah, they're not going to go for that Wildcat look. And it looks like Easton Bretzing wasn't the running back on that play.
Carrying the ball for Timpanogos, number 38, Jaden Robinson.
And the stadium announcer could find it before I did. Jaden Robinson on that good pickup like there. A pass outside to his left. It's going to be a good pickup on that screen pass. He's going to find plenty of yardage before finally stepping out of bounds.
This is Jamison Jones. Nice little alliteration there. It does look like Timpanogos is putting in their backups at the skill positions, but keeping Riggs at quarterback. Now, that's an interesting move, right? Because you don't want Riggs to re-injure his hand. You don't want him to get injured right after coming back. But you also want him to kind of get back into the rhythm of things. You don't want him to stay cold, per se. I know he's been practicing and throwing, doing skeleton work, right, the last couple of weeks. But you don't want to let him get out of rhythm. You don't want to let him get cold. So keeping him in the game here is kind of a smart decision. Get him in rhythm before region play.
Riggs going up is actually going to take the ball on a little bit of a rush. I'm very surprised to see that, considering the injury that you were just mentioning. Gets a pickup of maybe about one right there. It looks like that was a design quarterback draw. He's going to go up right there. And once again, our clock is going to continue to run. And we have 15 seconds left in this third quarter. Let's see if they get a playoff before the quarter ends. In the backfield, possibly going for a hard count. But if they are going to get a playoff, he's going to look to his right. He's going to throw it into the back of the end zone. And that one's just going to be on the wrong side of his intended receiver to Dash McCann, who had a touchdown earlier in this game.
Yeah, and Dash McCann was wide open. He found the seam in the defense, but Riggs threw it over his left shoulder, whereas McCann was looking over his right shoulder. Just a small communication, something very simple, and that's what wound up in it being incomplete there.
Yeah, and I wonder if Chase Riggs was just reading this defense and figured that it would just be better going to the left side right there, and it's not on the same page, and they're going to bring out the kicking unit. As Easton Bretzing is going to try to take this kick and give them a 42-point lead. And it looks like that is going to be the end of the third quarter, with the Timberwolves leading by 39 points.
It's a little unfortunate for Timpanogos, who are going to be kicking with the wind for that field goal attempt, but now they flip sides of the field, and they'll be kicking into the wind now on that field goal attempt.
And we're going to be right back after these messages. And we are back here at the start of the fourth quarter. with the Timberwolves leading 42-3.
And it looks like this is going to be about a 33-yard field goal for Bretzing. He's kicking into the wind, but he has an impressive leg.
And that one is up, and it is good. So the Timberwolves continue to put just another nail in the coffin of the Buffaloes.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that one stall out a little bit, but that drive. But Timpanogos does have their backups in. Maybe not playing as aggressively, right? You see it, play callers. You want to get experience for your backups for depth purposes, but also you don't want to lay it on too thick. You want to be a good sport. You don't want to keep throwing the ball down the field every single play, right? When you're up by 42. And Tooele is very grateful. I think they would want to keep this one as close as possible as they can. Still looking for their first trip to the end zone today, and we'll see if we can get that on this next drive here.
And now we're going to have the kicking unit come out, and it'll be interesting to see how long the Buffaloes decide to keep their starters in. If they wanted to rest their players, try to avoid any injuries, and possibly give their bench some practice before going forward into region play.
It's always a tough decision as a coach because, you know, you're not going to outright say it, but as soon as you do that, all your players know we're just mailing it in for the rest of the game, right? So you want to be careful. You don't want to just kill morale like that, but I mean, at a point like this, it's 45-3. You have to realize sometimes you need to protect your starters. That was interestingly fielded there.
And for the first time in a while, that ball is not going to be a touchback. And Rojas got that return and was able to pick up that spinning and tumbling ball and set them up at about their 21-yard line.
Yeah, so just a hair better than if it was a touchback.
At the 22-yard line.
Looks like Dean is still out there at quarterback.
And if this score stays consistent, the Buffaloes going forward will have less than half points for would have been scored against them this season. That's got to be frustrating for Coach BJ Hunter, who's a defensive guy. He was actually the defensive coordinator for Olympus High School back in 1998 when they were the state champions.
So you would expect he's going to put a lot of focus on this defensive performance today.
You'd think so. I'm sure he'll have some notes going forward, as well as for the offense, who could only put up 3 points thus far.
No, exactly. And like we've been saying, like this offense has not played to a 3 points kind of outing. They've played much better than that if you take away the penalties. The penalties have killed every single drive, and then the turnover on that fumble a couple possessions ago.
We need a Marvel what if not for the penalties. And that one's going to be a bit of a botched handoff as we had players down in the backfield who he had to jump over.
Looks like that's shifty little Gritzmacher. Trying to get him some more touches with how electrifying he can be if he can get to the outside.
We've seen Gritzmacher get the ball. We've also seen him line up as kind of a tight end lead blocker. We've also seen him make some good tackles here and there. As once again, coming into this game, he was the leading tackler for the Buffaloes.
And there he is, lined up as the swing back out there on the other side. Doing some run blocking. Holy cow, that's a giant hole there.
Right there, and it looks like he just ran right into his lead blocker. I'm not sure. I think he was trying to fake out that last defensor who was going to be the last thing standing between him and just open field right there, and it looks like he couldn't decide, just ran right into his lead blocker.
Yeah, very impressive play from Garrett Brown. He's super undersized out there right now against this Timpanogos defense, but exploded through that hole that was wide open, got really upfield. It looks like his controller just disconnected for a second, and he ran into his lead blocker.
And right there, just another short pickup right there to set up a second and long. And so still not a lot of diversity from the playbook, but it looks like they're going to keep on going to it. If every once in a while they're going to get a good gain and just give them some confidence, give them something to build off of.
Yep, and again, this is kind of the same thing Timpanogos has done. Keep in your starting quarterback, but mix in rotational guys at the skill positions like running back and tailback, and we're seeing that a little bit more.
Now one's going to be handed off to the left. is that one. He's going to find space, and he's going to go and weave his way through. It's going to set up a third and very short.
Maverick
Clarkson there with the carry. Again, another new name that's getting out here on these late drives in this game. About 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
And not that there's anything simple about football, but these plays, it seems like it's a very basic package. They know what they're going to continue to run, and so it's easy to plug in these players, get them some playing time, get them some experience.
Yeah, and especially like with this entire fourth quarter, you hate to be down by this much, but this is so valuable to your younger players. When they become juniors and seniors, they begin to lead this team. They're going to have that valuable experience. They're going to learn important lessons now. I might say they might learn something about penalties and playing discipline, but this is going to do wonders for the program in the future. You just hate that you're in this position, but you got to make the most of it when you are.
And it looks like on the defensive side of the ball, only a few of the original stars for the Timberwolves are out there. MJ Yosefo alongside Tyler Hunter are leading the way. And that one's going to be another handoff up the middle with a good way. And right there, he might have Pater in front of him as he goes, and is finally brought down at about the 3-yard line.
And look at quarterback Caden Dean running down there, beating his running back to the man, pancaking the defender that was going to take out his running back. Always love to see that from a quarterback, throwing out huge blocks, running downfield like that. Love to see it.
And the clock's going to continue to run as we have just under 8 minutes now. Timberwolves leading by 42. So even if they score here, there'll still be the running clock as they're still going to have a 35-point deficit to make up for. Now it's going to be a handoff to the right side, and it's going to be stuffed for just about the line of scrimmage, maybe an inch or so.
Yeah, and this is kind of what we've been talking about, right? You're down. The game is, not in doubt. You're probably not going to win at this point, but you're getting confidence for your team. You're showing them, hey, our system does work. We just need to execute. We just need to not go one drive without penalties, and I might just curse them right now. But having a drive like this, clean, hopefully you can get in the end zone and prove to your offense, hey, this does work. Stay bought into the system.
Well, let's see if you gave them the commentator's curse. It's going to be handed off right up the middle. Almost couldn't see who that was handed off to, and they are going to get into the end zone for their first touchdown of the night. And they're going to slowly but surely cut into this Timberwolves lead.
That was an impressive play there. They handed it off. They handed it off twice on the exact same play. First, quarterback Dean turned around and gave it to Garrett Brown, who then immediately gave it to Max Foles, who pounded in for the touchdown there. That's kind of some of this misdirection and creative play calling that doesn't look super complicated from up here in our box, but is really deceiving to the defense, and that's kind of what gave them the little bit of hesitation that they were able to push the defensive line into the end zone for that one.
And right here, it looks like they had a bit of personnel difficulty on the special teams, but they finally got set up, and let's see if they give them first double digit of the night, and they do. 45-10 now.
That was good.
That kick was so high and hard with the wind, I think it just landed in Logan. That was an awesome PAT, the best one we've seen tonight.
Well, and with that, we are going to take a quick break. We'll be back after these messages. And we are back here in Tooele, Utah, and we just saw the Buffaloes finally get into the end zone the first time this night. We were thinking that might be the first time this season that they didn't score a touchdown, but they are thankfully able to rub that out of existence and now face a 35-point deficit. And that one is kicked up, a booming kick with the wind advantage, goes out of the back of the end zone for a touchback.
The kick is a touchback. Ball back
now,
to the 20-yard line.
I'm going to say it. Tooele just scored their first touchdown of the game. That was also their first drive without a penalty. Coincidence?
I think not.
No, this is what happens when you play clean football. And this coach is going to just drill this into the players during film study, right? Look what happens when we play a clean possession with no turnovers or penalties. What do? We score. And that's exactly what you need right now, just some sort of positive momentum moving into region play.
Well, as well, they weren't running with their starting running backs there. It was all about the blocking, so that might be something to try to really build off of right there. It's like, hey, it's not about the guy running the rock, it's about the guy leading the way for it.
Exactly. And if there are rotational guys in there, that creates competition during practice, which elevates the play of everybody on the field.
And that was the handoff to Riggs once again. To Jaden Robinson, who finds his way for a nice little gain to set up second, and short.
Now, as tall and as big as these Timpanogos receivers are, their running backs are bowling balls, just absolutely bouncing off of guys, super hard to bring down.
Riggs in the backfield, deuces to both his sides. He's got his running back Robinson to his left. He takes the snap, going to look to his left, finds an open man right there. He's going to get the first down and more, find his way, weaving through traffic, might have a way, and he finds his way into enemy territory right there.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing this defense, as they start to work in some less experienced players, you're seeing a lot of arm tackles. That's kind of what was happening there. He was able to break so many tackles because this defense, whether it be inexperience or just fatigue this late in the game, just not putting quite as much effort into the tackling, and it's showing right now.
And that was James Jones on the reception, who's had a few looks here tonight. Fake handoff. It's going to once again go over there, and it looks like two receivers were expecting the ball. It looks like that was going to go to James Jones again, but the receiver in front of him, Dash McCann.
Second down.
Thought that might have been going to him. Or excuse me, that might have been Cash McCann. Forgive my eyesight.
There's definitely some sort of miscommunication going on there. And something that you expect, right? When you're working in these players that don't see the field quite as much in varsity football, you're going to see just a couple of miscommunications and little mistakes.
This one's finally handed off after back-to-back passes. And Robinson has distance, and he's going to go, and he's going to have me with the few defender before finally being brought down at the 21-yard line. A great pickup right there to keep these chains and the clock rolling.
Number 38, Jaden Robinson.
Jaden Robinson, he certainly showed that he's valuable as a running back, too, filling in the role for normal Easton Bredsing.
Yeah, and not only is he big and hard to tackle, he is fast, too.
And this one's going to be a throw, but that one's going to be incomplete. And that one, whenever you're running those, you want to make sure that you're throwing forward and not backwards. Got to be careful right there, as that one went through the hands of Cash McCann, whose brother's had a few looks as well as the score.
Yeah, and like you said, you definitely want those to go forward, thrown into the wind too. That's a little dangerous. You got to make sure that you're really on point with all of your setup for that play, so that everyone's in position.
And now we're once more going to get deuces to either side of Chase Riggs. Robinson now to his right side, calling the receiver in motion. Over, Cash McCann, fake handoff, and it's going to go up to Robinson. Robinson's going to weave his way through traffic, going to fight and finally be pulled down. It looked like it might have been a face mask, but there's not going to be a call. Set up second and about 5.
Timpanogos is just doing exactly what they want to do. Run the ball, run the clock, and get some confidence for your young guys that don't get in the game very often.
And we have just over 4 minutes to play. Chase Riggs back at quarterback, trips to his left, looking there. It's going to be a fake pump, and he's going to go to the guy who's intended for, and that's going to be number 25, Tage Listler, who usually plays defense as a safety. But he catches that ball, it's going to set up very close for a new set of downs.
Something I love to see from kind of a smaller wide receiver like that. As soon as he caught it, he saw the guy coming at him. Didn't try and juke around him, just went straight upfield and ran right into the defender. You love to see that, because too many guys dance around and lose yardage that they should have got by just going straight upfield as soon as they catch the ball.
And we saw this earlier in the game, but we see the hard count successful for the Timberwolves, catching the Buffaloes offsides, and that's going to set them up with a new set of downs, very close to the end zone now. I'm not sure if it's going to be quite first and goal, but very close to it. Conversion after that fourth and very short yardage situation.
Yeah, just Timpanogos' bread and butter. Just get people running at such a high velocity, and then you do the hard count, get them to jump super easy.
We'll watch the out route right here. That usually gets thrown to Luke Livingston, but that one's going to be caught that time for the touchdown, Parker Harvey. And it looks like he did hang on to it for the score.
And the touchdown.
Now, that was an incredible catch by Parker Harvey, who kicks the extra points for Timpanogos. as he lines up to do so. He had to jump, turn all the way around, contort his body, get his hands all the way above his head, and then hold on to it through contact with the ground as his feet fell out from under him.
And now let's see the kick. If he's going to get all 7 points on that drive, and he does.
Parker Harvey with the extra point.
Safe to say he's Timpanogos' leading scorer tonight.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well for himself. And well, with that, that is going to be the second time this season that they have scored a 50-burger.
I love me a 50-burger, unless I'm on defense.
Yeah, unless you're on defense, then it's a hard pill to swallow.
It definitely is, especially when you're playing hard, but you just get outmatched. You get out-schemed in a lot of ways. This secondary is so small for Tooele. Like, they're fast, they're athletic, they're aggressive too. We've seen them coming up and making tackles in open field, but sometimes guys are just taller than you, and there's not a ton you can do, and we saw it right there.
Just to remind you, Timpanogos Football and KSL Sports Rewind is presented by Brent Brown Toyota and brought to you as well by Heidemann and Associates.
As Bretsing rumbles out onto the field, probably over there sitting on the bench, taking a nice rest as he gets to sit out this fourth quarter from his running back duties. He forgot he needs to do the kickoffs as well, so out he comes to do the kickoff. The breeze is very, very strong right now, so we'll see how far this one goes, but he has a strong leg.
And it looks like here that there was a little bit of a personnel issue on the receiving end for Buffalo as Coach Hunter switched out some players. And Bretsing gets ready as the refs will give him the go-ahead. And they get it, and we will get underway. And here we go.
Bretsing kicking off.
That ball is up and away. Yeah, and despite that wind, it's good distance, but it is going to be playable. That one's going to go back, and he is going to be met in the backfield right there.
Carson carries the ball for the Bucks. First down, Tooele.
Maverick Charleston right there.
So as Tooele comes back out onto the field, there's 3:16 left on the clock here. You just want to get out of the game with no injuries and no extracurricular activities either. Tell your guys, hey, keep your head on. We know that it's been it hasn't gone our way today. It's been really rough. But don't do anything stupid. Don't start throwing punches. You just want to get out of here safe and healthy and without anything unsportsmanlike. So I expect to see them try their best, but also just want to get out of here in one piece.
Dean on the handoff to the right side. And that one looks like it was fumbled. Let's see who ends up having it. Timberwolves think they do, and they do, in fact, have it. If the far ref has it. So, we just talked about building off of something. They're not going to be building off of that drive. The Timberwolves are going to get another chance to increase their lead. It'll be really interesting to see if they're going to try to punch the ball in or if they're just going to show mercy.
Yeah, that's my bad, Buffalo Nation. I definitely jinxed them on that one. But yeah, it looks like they actually gave the ball back to Tooele. So it's just going to be 2nd and 11. It looks like 2nd and 12 or 13. So good break for Tooele here late in the game.
Okay, yeah, I guess that they were the ones on the receiving end of the ball. A little bit of a break right there. Dean under center. Going to pass that ball out. It's going to be going to the left, and that one's going to be a loss of about 2 yards right there. So a loss and a loss. But no fumble.
No fumble. And, yeah, it is as positive as a negative play could be at this point.
Yes. And we have about 1 minute and 45 seconds left in this game. And once again, just looking ahead on the Tooele Buffalo schedule. After this, they are going to be 0-4, but a chance to get their first win of the season, this time in region play, as they face Cottonwood. They're going to be hosting them here. Cottonwood's going to be traveling from Salt Lake City. Dean under center, going to pass off the first guy right there, and that one's going to be brought for possibly another loss right there. It looks like it will be a loss of about just half a yard or so.
And so now we're looking at 4th and 14, it looks like. There's about 1:06 left on the clock here. Probably not enough time to get out of here on this play. They're probably going to have to run at least one play, get a punt off. I mean, you see in the huddle, these guys are just kind of giving each other five, saying, hey, good effort today. Obviously, we're playing a team that...
I think, the Buffaloes will have a lot of notes to build off. mostly off of negative things. I think that the Timberwolves are going to have a smile on their faces and are going to have plenty to chat and grin about on their bus ride home.
Yeah, they scored 52 points, so there's not a lot wrong that went down today, but there's still a lot you can learn from. A couple of turnovers, a lot of penalties. The coaches are definitely going to be able to find things to keep these players motivated by.
That was a low punch, and that one made contact with the kicker, but the ref didn't call the flag right there. Maybe he wants to go home too. And that one's brought back about Timpanogos' 49-yard line.
I love to see big hits from the special team players. I mean, these are generally players that don't get on the field on offense or defense. Maybe they're backing up another position. So to see them still playing hard on special teams, laying the wood like that, you love to see it. It means that the coaching and the culture is still holding through, even though it is 52-10.
And just some other high school football scores around here. Provo is currently beating Salem Hills 35-0. Payson over Mountain View 27-0.
See, Tooele, it could be worse. You could have scored 0 points tonight.
West High beating Olympus by 1 point, 19-18. Brighton over Highland 27-6. Roy 56-0, and that's the final score over Clearfield. Box Elder currently beating Northridge 36-6. A close one. Bountiful against Viewmount. Bountiful Redhawks winning 28-27. And Woodcross down against Bonneville 28-40. Those are your scores around the state. And we are going to get that knee as the players give each other high fives. And this clock will run to 0. Well, and that was pretty much what we thought it might be. We knew it was going to be an uphill battle for the Tooele Buffaloes, and it was an uphill battle that they were not able to get the top of the mountain of. Now, Jared, I'm going to turn the time over to you, to our Heidemann Associates player of the game. Jared?
So there's a lot of players. I mean, obviously, Timpanogos is the winning team. It's going to come from Timpanogos. Definitely not going to be the officials with the number of flags that were thrown tonight. And like I said, it could go to anybody on this offense, but I'm going to give it to Chase Riggs, making his return at quarterback. Yes, he had the 2 interceptions. Yes, there were a couple of miscommunications, but by and large, he played outstanding for his first game back from injury. He looked crisp. He looked warm. He looked ready to go. If you're Timpanogos, I mean, having Luke Livingston at quarterback was working just fine, but now having him at a skill position and having Riggs be able to man that quarterback position, it's just an embarrassment of riches. And with Riggs playing as well as he did tonight, that is something huge for Timpanogos to gain confidence off of and build upon moving into region play. So there it is, your Heidemann Associates player of the game, Chase Riggs, quarterback number 7 for Timpanogos. There he is walking off the court. What an incredible performance from him in his first game back from injury.
Yeah, I think you could say that Chase Riggs, he was more than the Buffaloes could handle. See what I did there? I am so sorry for anyone who had to hear that. But anyways, that is the final as the Timberwolves beat the Buffalo 52-10. And that is all from us signing off. I'm Alex Amrine, and alongside me is Jared Call.